Guys, have you ever like opened your door to a note and when you're like, oh, nice, somebody like left me a nice little letter, and you open it up and you realize that you've got a noise complaint from someone in your building. You have no idea where this formal noise complaint has come from. And you start kind of thinking like, I'm not that loud, like I know we clap cheeks loud sometimes in this place, but otherwise it's a pretty tame apartment, right? I'd got a
Who's getting
complaint.
their cheeks clapped though? Yours or
Jesus
theirs?
Yeah, is it your cheeks?
I'm just gonna leave that,
Okay,
up
all
to
right.
the
Well,
ether.
International
Amanda's-
Women's Week in Canada.
But it pissed me
Wow.
off. It pissed me off because I'm like, I am not a loud person. I purposely like tiptoe around this apartment. I don't keep my TV volume above 70. But then I thought about it. A couple months ago, the lady below me, she's like an 80-year-old lady. She came up in her house robe at like 10 o'clock at night, knocked on my door. Yeah. And she was like, Ben, she's like, your TV's too loud. And then I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. I'm just sitting here cross stitching and like watching a show. And she's like, cross stitching? I'm like, yeah, come on in. And she came into my apartment, and as like a non-collector, this old lady,
I normally
right?
skip that part.
She's looking.
I usually skip the plot, Ben.
She's looking around. She's like, "Oh my God, your apartment's so clean." And then she sees the collection room. She's like, "Wow!" Right? And so she came in my collection room and walked around.
Jesus.
By the end of that
Wow.
conversation,
Yeah. Pause.
Yeah,
She-
that was a
Pause, Ben.
no, sorry, she didn't. But she did. She enjoyed the collection room, I should say. She ended up leaving, and I gave her my phone number, and it was like, if I'm ever loud again, just shoot me a text, and I'll be quiet. And then today, I open my door, and I get this noise complaint. So I go down to the lady's door, and I knock on her door, and I'm like, "Hi, have I been loud again?" And she's like, "No, what are you talking about? I thought you installed soundproofing. I haven't heard much from you." And I was like, I got this formal notice. So my question for you, after that long story, boys, is, what do I even do? Like, do I just not care? Because like I'm the type of person, like I don't want to bug somebody, but I'm like, is somebody in here like hearing me be like, "What's up, guys?" on the Let's Get Nut show, or like, what is it? I don't know.
It started
I,
off
um,
as a noise thing, and now I want you to let that old lady blow you.
Yeah, me
Without her
too.
dentures. Without her dentures, in, dude.
Well,
Just let me know what that's
She told me
like.
she's had open heart surgery, so you got to be
What is
careful
it,
with
Dean?
that shit.
Dina, I'll never know that pleasure.
Oh yeah, you know. If you know, you know. I had a noise complaint once. It was sophomore year of college, and I was watching Jurassic Park with a sound system, and like you're not gonna not crank Jurassic Park. Like if the fucking
gotta
water in my
crank
room isn't fucking reverberating like with the T-Rex, then I don't want it. And they fucking called the cops. I'm like, what the hell? And it's so awkward. Like, bro, don't you have anything better to do in this college town?
so this
Yeah,
is
so
when you were
this-
in an apartment, though, right?
It was in an apartment, yeah.
Okay.
I fucking hate living in apartments. I couldn't do it anymore. Too loud.
That's fair. Although
So-
when I did,
so I
when I
guess
was in,
what-
when I
you
was in
know-
her apartment
Yeah, I've never
today, I
really
did
had
realize her
neighbors.
bedroom's under mine, so
Ew.
I gotta be careful
Wow.
about that. What were you gonna say,
To
Dean?
reciprocate.
You've never had a
I
noise
was saying
complaint?
I've
Dean?
never really had neighbors, so
Oh, yeah.
no, I've never lived in like an apartment. I've had condos, but Corey was my neighbor, so it's like my best friend. I didn't have to worry about
See,
just
in
the worst-
Texas,
a noise complaint. So
just in Texas, they just pull out a gun and be like, "Do we still have a problem?" That's how they resolve it. So I don't know if that's applicable to you.
Yeah.
I wrote on the letter. I said, if loud again, here's my phone number. Please call me, with a happy face. And I'm hoping in Canada, that means somebody just wants to go for a Timmy Hortons, and we can just
I guess I
resolve
don't
it.
understand.
So you know Canada's different.
Who did you give the letter to? The leasing office?
No, they gave me the letter, and I rehung the letter on my door with that note
Oh,
on it
I
to be
see.
like, call me if I'm loud, because what the hell.
In
But
America
it's just a
or
shitty feeling,
California, maybe, when someone tells you you're being too loud, that is a first strike in war. We no longer conversate with this person. Now we get louder.
Like you're about to get your ass whooped.
I literally wanted to
exactly.
play the music loud today because I'm like, what? 11 o'clock is quiet time technically. Nobody can call the cops till 11, right? So, but I don't know. It's just an old age building, I think. So
Too
we'll
nice,
see.
man. Too
We'll see.
nice.
Hate to see it.
Well, hopefully we have more updates.
do they
on
even
this
call the
amazing
cops in
saga.
Canada?
They do.
Yeah, they
eh?
do. Yeah. It's the
What are they
Mounties.
called for reals though? The
They
Mounties,
show up.
all right.
You can hear them coming. You hear the galloping.
Jesus.
Sir,
Jeez.
excuse me,
Sorry to bother you,
Hey
eh?
there. Hey, I'm sorry,
someone
but it
was-
sounds like you're
they
having
said
too much
someone
fun
was-
there. Trudeau's gonna need a taxi.
Jesus. I thought someone was giving a round of applause upstairs.
Jeez.
Hey, I'm sorry. We haven't been to the moon.
Were you really not in the intro, Ben?
He was.
I was.
I saw him a couple.
Wow. Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Eddie.
Welcome to this week's episode of
that?
Collecting Weekly. Jesus. You're lagging so bad.
I think you're lagging pretty, Dean. That was
He's
like
in a
30
different time
seconds
zone
later.
right now.
It's the weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things
Oh, no.
that matter the most to us this week in collecting. That's right.
Let's go ahead and say it because I don't know.
Yeah,
We
we
gotta
got to
do the
fix
whole
this
show
Dean,
like this.
'cause, yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought. We got a lot of people in the chat. Let's say hello to these angels. We got Toy Mafia, Toy Collector with ones. I like that. SpongeBob SquareBalls, Trevor, Mark Pearson. Mark Pearson with a super chat. Happy New Year, CW. Tim Harvey's still under the weather, guys, but bring me that sweet healing feeling that only CW can bring. I love that. OG Fan, Universal Key, Sith Scale Collector, 12-inch Moose Stream, DJ, Alvin J, JB, Cram, let's see, Mark P, Nick's Collectibles, Equan, How Does This Story End? Romance, Cylon, King Dingling, Joe P, Calvin, 210, Straight Gums, bro. Some guy.
Straight gums.
Jesus Christ. Let's see here. We got yeah, JB says turn the TV up to 11, then go
Leave for,
go
the,
away for the
weekend.
weekend. Miami's Nemesis one. Let's see here. Mike Clitoris, Oilers Workshop. Let's see here. And Philip the Fool and Katera. Wow, what is this, episode 303? Yeah, I don't know, man. You think we'd get it right after doing it 299 times? We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. We have just a tiny bit of Hot Toys news, just a tiny bit of celebration. Obviously, 300 episodes is a big deal. Lots of milestones this week. We have 300 episodes on the main show, 200 episodes on After Dark. I think on Saturday we hit 900 episodes overall of like the whole network, so that's really cool. Let's crack one up. What are we drinking today, boys? I got the, what is this, sparkling water with caffeine because I'm trying to cut calories. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, a little
Going crazy, huh?
going crazy
Water
tonight.
is water.
300.
Drinking,
What'd you get, Dean?
drinking sweet tea as always.
Classic.
Delicious. What are we
Grab
going?
those
Raisin
soup.
Canes?
Yeah.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm still
what about-
crying
I don't
out
know.
from,
I don't know what
from
to
the
tell
holidays.
you. Like, I've reset
Did
my
you
computer and everything.
Are you on Firefox or Chrome?
I'm on
Have
Chrome.
you tried unplugging it and turning it
Switch
back?
over to Firefox if you can. What about you, Ben?
I am drinking Glutenberg, which is actually gluten-free beer, which is a little bit confusing based on the
couldn't
title
tell.
of the game. But yeah,
Doggen.
Glutenberg. Yeah, so it's good. It's a pale ale. It's nice. I got 4-pack for the night. So
I
gonna
see
go
your
crazy.
point though. Like it almost implies that it's got extra gluten in it.
Yeah, right.
Like it's the most
Glutenberg.
gluteny beer.
Gluten.
Yeah, no. So yeah, gluten-free apparently, but it's nice. It's nice. Although I don't remember what real beer tastes like anymore, so you might hate it. Although I think it was Moose, 12-inch Moose Stream that had some of these with me, and he seemed to
Yes.
enjoy them. So
Yeah, I had one or two as well. They weren't bad, Ben. Honestly, I could drink it.
Wow. You guys are out here drinking Ben's beers, man.
They all drank a lot of
Dude
beers.
has a
So,
condition.
yeah.
He got a whole pizza for himself.
I stopped giving him to Moose after a while. I was like, no, you can't be drinking. This is all Ben has.
That's all he has.
double fisting it.
When he hadn't eaten all weekend and I still took a slice of his pizza, that was probably a
You-
low.
I tried to share it. You guys didn't
Appreciate
want to
you
have it, but
sharing.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Jesus. Here we go. We
I
have.
just got
Oh, go
rum and
ahead.
Coke, which is half gone already. So
There we go. So
There
we
you
good
go.
night. Let's see here. PT Works. Been a while. Glad to catch you guys live again. Big Rib. What's up, fellas? Open that bottle of alcohol. Fernando says, "Drink real beer, man up." I think
If
Ben would have a
you want me
blowout.
to shit on the stream, then
Texas
Wow.
Boy
Yeah.
210. Happy 300 episode, fellas. How's it going? And we got the lovely Chris in the chat says, "Congrats on 300 episodes." Do we got Janine? Possibly not. Okay, so we have a very special segment that we kick off all of our best shows with. You ready, Marco?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's new this week.
Totally. blew it.
yeah. What'd you guys get new this week?
that
There
was.
you go.
I
That
thought
was
he was
good.
here for a second.
Wow, that
like,
was
what
really
the
good.
fuck?
Ben's a true professional. Eddie, what'd you get new this week?
Last week I missed the show, so I got Infinity War or Endgame Thor and Endgame Cap back. What? Because I've never owned Endgame Thor, but I've owned Endgame Cap before, so he's back in the collection. A lot of people's favorite Cap, great figure, looks great, and I actually like the Endgame Thor a lot. I don't love the look, and I've been very vocal about how I feel about Bro Thor, but it's a nice looking figure, and posed like this, it looks pretty good and has a lot of accessories and stuff. And the lightning effects that you can add to the Stormbreaker are really sick. So good figures and cheap as hell now. So definitely worth going back and getting them if you never got them.
Did you get
What
both of
are-
these at 35% off?
Yeah. I think they were both under 200. They were maybe
Shoot.
like 150 shipped each, something like
At
that.
that price, that's great. Honestly, like these are
Like
two
a
figures that I paid
no.
full retail on, and they're awesome figures. Like some of my favorite in my collection. So, congrats on
Yeah.
the pickups.
Thanks, man.
There you go.
So
You
I
also
got-
got one more figure.
Yeah, I finally dove in to Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech. Started with the Moon Knight. This is their newest figure, just released. I picked it up at Frankenson's at a shop called Ageless Geeks. They're local to Southern California, and this figure is dope. I've always been interested in Amazing Yamaguchi, and I've never pulled the trigger because they are different. They're super articulated figures, but they're very, very visible joints, and some people don't like that, the way that the figures look, the aesthetic, but they're actually getting really good on the aesthetic. So I think they're getting better with the aesthetic and still have super dope articulation. So they're some of the best 112 figures, and I absolutely love this. I went with the Dark Knight pose, so I literally ripped that off from the sideshow statue or the cover from the comic book. So, and he has those moonarangs that you could copy that with, so it's pretty dope, dude. I love this figure.
It's a really good pose, dude. That looks amazing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
I want to see if I can do that with my Hot Toys Moon Knight. It's not
Dude,
that
I did-
posable, but
It could get close. I did it with
Yeah?
the Hot Toys Moon Knight at LA Comic Con because
Okay.
I helped him pose it for the booth, and it gets close. It obviously the legs are the hard and the crunch in the abs that it won't get as
crunch, yeah.
crunched as that, but it looks good still in that pose, especially with the moon dial behind it. It looks sick.
and the cape on that figure is insane.
Yeah,
so,
this is a lot like that cape actually.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, that's a great pose, dude. That's wicked.
Thanks.
I'm fucking jealous. Let's see here, Marco. You got a order coming in.
Yeah, so the reason I included this, normally we talk about figures we got in hand, but I had been thinking about adding this RoboCop for a while now. So obviously both editions are waitlisted on Sideshow, including the exclusive, which I think Ben may have, that has the battle damage pieces. That's what I wanted, but I have a really hard time paying full retail, plus the shipping, plus the tax on figures. And so I was like, I'm just going to wait and see what comes available. Pop Culture still has this guy up. For me, it was about $385 shipped. So $385 all in. And this is one that, again, I'm not a huge RoboCop person, but he's an icon. Grew up with the toys, with the video games, enjoy the films. So this is one that I was like, do I need it at that price? And finally pulled the trigger. So if anyone's waiting, just the public service announcement, Pop Culture, it seems like the figures that are waitlisted on Sideshow, sometimes they don't even go into stock. They'll have them up for pre-order, and then once that figure starts shipping, they just pull it off the site completely. So not saying that will happen, but if you're thinking about it, that's a place to get it at a decent price.
Dude, you're gonna love this figure, man. It is easily one of my favorite figures of 2023, and just in the collection with the way the light hit it, like it's so nice. The purples and the blues that come through it. Also, side note, yesterday I ordered a RoboCop video game on the PlayStation Store. It was on sale right now, I think, with Boxing Week.
Heard good things about that.
It's kind of fun. It's just kind of like an arcade shooter, but the environmental damage is really good, and like you blow like guys' faces like right off, like their whole head, you'll blow them off with the gun. It's fun. It's fun. So janky though is definitely a word I'd use for like the cutscenes and some of like the dialogue stuff, but like you don't play a RoboCop game to shoot people for the dialogue scenes. Janky for that part, really fun for the gun work and the game itself. So something to consider.
Yeah, something that's on my radar.
I've heard really good things about that game, Ben.
Yeah, I would love to see a Let's Play of that game with Zach and Dean
for that.
doing some voices.
Is
Public
it
service. Go
multiplayer?
ahead, Zach.
Sorry. Is it multiplayer, Ben?
I don't think it's multiplayer, but I didn't look for that mode. I can let you guys know next week if you want.
There you go. Sorry.
One more thing, because there was some confusion when we talked about the Superman and Pop Culture. It seemed like some folks had not used the site before. Definitely use a credit card with no international service charges, and it's going to charge you the original Australian dollars. But if you have a credit card with good conversion, you get a really good price on it. And then I will just say they do have payment plans, but the only ones that I think are available on this is you pay the deposit plus all the shipping now, which was a little over $100 for me. And then when the figure starts shipping, you pay the balance, the remainder. But I'd say don't use PayPal because their conversion rate is not as good as the credit cards. So just some little public service there if anyone's interested.
Wow, you'll love to see it. So I had a really good week. Compliments of the Martin family. Dean and I, we did a pickup at. He was doing a local deal. This guy had a crazy purchase, which we'll let Dean talk about that on his news this week. But as a part of it, the guy didn't want to split the lot, and so Dean was nice enough to give me this Slave One TVC. It's been on my like sort of radar for probably about a year and a half now since I got into TVC. Really stoked to have this. It's such a beautiful ship. A few people have asked already, where is it at in the collection? It's in my garage right now. I will probably be doing a video on the garage soon-ish, because now my goal is to make real content. And so stay tuned for that. And the other Martin family gift, Deanie, fan favorite, we'll talk about it later, like right at the end of the show, but some of the listeners wanted us to get into Baldur's Gate 3, and with some things out of our control with Dungeons & Dragons, we're going to be exploring that as a bit of content through Ox Plays. So Deanie was nice enough to buy me Baldur's Gate 3. I had mentioned it would probably be February before I would have the cheddar to swing on that, and she was nice enough to purchase that for my Christmas gift. So big shout out to Dean and Deanie. Wonderful, lovely people. And Dean, you got a crazy new this week. One of the most insane deals. I mean, it like you said, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Could not be believed.
Yeah, I still kind of don't believe it.
You might want to check if it's from China or something.
Yeah, as any keen-eye viewer can see, it's sitting right here on my shoulder. It's the HasLab Razor Crest. And Zach, you tagged me in this thing kind of like mid-morning, early
The second
afternoon.
it went up, bro.
The second it went up, it was the HasLab Razor Crest with the box and everything. I don't know what they're called, but the Legacy Scale Slave One. On card, Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Jawa, and Grogu. 2 Mandos. I just unboxed the other one. 2 Mandos, Cara Dune, IG-11,
Queel, Jawa,
Queel, what's the
Grief
blue guy?
Karga,
Grief Karga.
the Mithril.
Yeah, the Mithril. Like, everybody from the fucking show sounds like the armorer, basically. For $360, which
Insane. The ship by itself would have been insane for all of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The Slave One is $250 at like Target or GameStop or something. And I didn't see Zach tag me because I sleep like a fucking bear until 4 hours later, and I was like, oh fuck! I was like, $360 is insane. Like I can't not buy it, right? So it's like I could move some money around. And so I messaged the guy. I was like, it's probably gone. It's been there for 4 hours. There's no way no one's bought it already. Messages me back maybe like 30 minutes later. He's like, it's still available. I was like, I'll fucking take it. So whenever you want to meet up, I'm down. So he messaged me when to meet him, and I hit up Zach. I was like, hey, do you want to go with me? Because I don't like going to meetups by myself. I ended up knowing the guy, but still, you never know.
Armed security, baby.
And Zach was like, fuck it, get out of the house for a little bit. Sure, why not? So yeah, we went and picked it up, and it's fucking amazing.
We did a little. It was funny because the video was so successful. I always joke about it, but I really fucking hate editing, and kind of got called out by some people recently. And so I was like, you know what? Let me find my GoPro. I literally, like, when you pulled up, I was looking for the GoPro, and it turned out like such a fun little video. And yeah, everyone was clamoring for more. So I might do a little video in my garage this week. Maybe once a week, put out a little bit of real content. And yeah, Dean, I know we got a great comment here. This is probably what you said when you made the purchase.
Wow, I just saved myself $150.
I saved myself a lot more
Perfect.
than $150.
Yeah.
Bro, insane, man. Congratulations. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, so I'm super happy to have that in the collection now.
Yeah.
I still think the HasLab is a fucking bullshit idea, but goddamn if it's not a great product.
I was going to call you out on that. I was going to say you've gone back on your principles, but it's fine to change our minds. We said on the show.
Well, no.
It's fine.
To be fair,
buys it after
Dean and
the
I
fact.
said we would not support purchase on the HasLab.
He
Dean
did,
and I
though.
both got ours.
He did.
Well,
he got us over.
Rainer. Well, he bought it from Rainer.
Yeah,
Loophole.
Yeah. There's
If it already exists, are you supporting it? I don't know.
Oh, that's a deep thought, Dean.
What
Let's
the
see
hell?
here.
Ben, shut the fuck up.
Ben, you know what?
New
What's your
segment
apartment
idea.
complex? We're gonna put in a noise complaint. He keeps talking about nuts. I don't know. He's a weird guy. I heard the Warner Brothers were after him.
That was
Anyways,
very, very introspective, Ben. New segment idea, Nuts Deep with Ben.
That's
You know, where we just cover the deep topics.
I love it.
I actually love that so much. That might be a Let's Get Nuts exclusive there. Anyways, so let's get into
Members
some news
only.
here.
Members only.
There we go. We got the Hot Toys What If Sicarian Iron Man. This one comes in at $4.95, releasing October to March 2025. I will be honest. I have yet to watch this episode of What If. I will say I think the design is nice. Like I don't mind the colors. A lot of people have been calling this the Crayola Iron Man. I don't mind the colors. I don't mind the look. I feel like this thing is not going to have almost any posability outside of picking the arms up. And to be honest, like I could see myself purchasing this if it was like an extreme bargain bins, $200, $150, which I kind of feel like it's going to be. I could see myself making a purchase. Now, again, I haven't seen the show. I know the Lego one had like a transforming feature where it became a race car. So I don't know if that's in the episode, but if it is, I think it's a big missed opportunity. They've already given us a transforming figure in the past with Black Panther. If it does actually do it in the show, it's kind of lame to not see it here. But Dean, $455, quite the expensive Iron Man here. And it's not another diecast banner, so it looks like this is all plastic, probably after tax and shipping, $550 plus figure.
Yeah, I have almost nothing good to say about this thing. It's real goofy. It's more expensive than the Spider-Man 2 Venom figure and much smaller. It's only about a head taller, than a Mark 7. There you go. Look at that shoulder. That's so, like, there's no thought put into that shoulder armor at all. It's just like, what is that? That is terrible. There's no real light of function save for the face and maybe like the nipple area. I don't know what you call those. So it's not like the Mark 50 with a bunch of fucking cool LEDs everywhere. So it's like, what the fuck are we paying for? It's not die-cast. And I don't think it's any fault of Hot Toys. It's just the design of the character. But, like, it's very boring. It's not exciting to look at. Like, okay, it's colorful, but look how, like, it's just not a cool-looking Iron Man figure. So the fact that it costs so much is, like, why? I have, like, nothing good to say about it.
So, Dean, I'm pretty much with you on this one. I feel like, Zach said, maybe if it was super bargain bin, something to consider. If I see more on this, maybe I could be persuaded, but I don't think so because I haven't really liked What If at all. So I didn't like the first season particularly. Maybe the Doctor Strange one was a standout for me. I watched the first episode of the second season, and I have to ask, does it get any better? Because that first episode was really not good, in my opinion. Like, I was falling asleep. I was like, this should be for me. Like this type of deep cuts, like, hey, what if we brought back this character? And I was like, this is just so poorly executed, in my opinion. So that makes me not particularly like anything from the series. And then you tack on the price and the design being a bit wonky. And I'm not a fan of this one really at all.
So I've watched all the second season, mostly because this figure was announced. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, and I want to be able to speak to it specifically. I didn't hate the episode by any stretch. One of the things that I loved about the episode, without spoilers, is that it was another example of Tony Stark putting himself out there as like that hero, Iron Man, right? Like he was once a very selfish person. He recognizes that within himself. And when he goes to Sakaar and sees what's happening there, it's kind of, they're doing like kind of death races basically on Sakaar at that point. And so he's seeing people around him literally just get killed in these death races and watching, like the head magistrate or whatever his name is, the Jeff Goldblum character, kind of basically just laugh at it. And he challenges the Jeff Goldblum character to a race and basically says like, if I win, you'll let everybody go. If not, then, you can have me forever and I'll, or whatever. I can't remember exactly what his deal was, but other than that, it was a pretty cool episode, and you do get a chance to see this armor transition into a vehicle, which is fun. One of my complaints about the show, at least for the design, was that unlike the Hulkbuster, which is a huge piece in the collection, this is kind of somewhere between Hulkbuster and regular Iron Man. It wasn't that much different. And so while it stands out, it doesn't almost, in my opinion, stand out in the same way that a Hulkbuster would in your collection because it's not that much more impressive. So it's unfortunate for Hot Toys because they have to follow kind of the design of the show, which is very much this exactly. It's a perfect representation of what they showed us in the show, both with the likeness of Tony Stark, the armor, the coloration, the build, the design, all of it. I mean, Hot Toys nailed it if you like the show. But I totally understand why people are kind of like, I don't need it, especially if you don't care about What If you don't care about that kind of alternative universe. I've always liked What If as a concept because it is What If. You can look at your collection and place characters with different people just because now there's some level of canon event that shows that you can, right? Nebula was in that first episode, Marco, and while you didn't love that first episode, I still liked seeing Nebula again outside of Guardians of the Galaxy and what could have happened with her and how devastating her character arc could have been. And I thought that was interesting. With Tony here, it's cool to see him on Sakaar and see what his technological capabilities could do. And if that worked for you, then this is a pretty sweet figure. I wish it was die-cast, but there's no real indication in the show that it's die-cast or plastic or anything. Like, they don't talk about the material of the suit, obviously. You just assume that it's metal because it's a car. So it would have been nice to have this as die-cast, but it would have upped the
Which
balance.
one of Iron Man's suits is plastic, Ben?
Hey, you never know. I'm just saying, right? They don't
in the
talk
name,
about the
Ben. It's
material.
Iron Man.
It's What If. It's an alternative
That's right.
universe.
That's a
It
good
could have been
point,
some
Zach.
weird kind of hard polymer plastic. I'm going with it. But anyways,
You know,
just
I
saying,
appreciate
it's
the
lame that
passion
it's
on
not
that,
diet.
man.
It's lame that it's not diecast. I just wanted to say I've seen the episode, and this is pretty good figure, even still, for the people who are excited about it.
Now,
'cause
Ben, let me ask you this.
rainbows, as John
I
would
don't
say.
know. I don't know how, I guess, like, much you paid attention to the episode, but is this a transformation that you think could have been pulled off in figure form? Like, sometimes when you look at the Michael Bay stuff, those motherfuckers just explode, and like you're like, there's no way that could ever be a toy, and the toys look really janky because
Like,
of it.
could they have made him a transformer?
Do you think it could have been possible, or
he
was
almost
it
looked like
really
an
funky?
he almost looked like an F1 racer when he transitions.
Oh shit!
So I
okay, yeah.
don't know if they could have pulled off some of the angular design.
Man, they made
with
Tony
this
Stark
suit.
trans.
What?
Oh my
Did I say
gosh.
that? What? Oh, Jesus! Don't clip that.
Wow.
Ben, I do have to challenge 2 points that you brought up there.
we
Number
go.
one, I do love the concept of what if. Like, that should totally be up my alley. Like, right here, I've got the Jeremy Benthal, as you would call him, in
Jesus
this Punisher
Christ.
War Machine outfit. So, like, I like these weird ones. Like, those totally speak
Yeah.
to me, but the execution isn't particularly great. But I see a lot of folks in the comments saying it does get better, so I will stick with it. And Zach, can you go to the side-by-side of, I think it was Iron Man, maybe Mark IV? Ben was saying, it's not that impressive, but honestly, a few inches can actually be impressive. So I don't know what your point is with that, but I could see the difference.
He's got
right
inches to
here,
spare.
so.
That's fine.
That's
It's
right.
not quite a Hulkbuster, but it's not quite the size of a regular Iron Man. Why is he so much larger than a regular suit, but not that large at the same time? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it.
Got it.
Hate to see it. But that's more of a criticism of Disney and What If, not Hot
Grand
Wheels.
Admiral Burtis says, "What if Iron Man had no iron?" That's incredible.
Jesus Christ.
That's right.
What do you think about this, Eddie?
I don't have much. I don't hate the suit. I want to know why. What if stuff they make so quickly, and everything else we have to wait for. Like,
So for
popular new things.
For this specific one, I believe I have the answer for that. This was supposed to be in season 1, but I think due to COVID or like the pandemic or something, they had to push this episode back. So Lego is like long sold out of this mech. Like it came out in the What If wave. So this design has been like known for a long time, and if you watch the original What If trailer or like teasers or whatever, they briefly show this mech. It just never made it into season 1. Yeah, so
That's
that may be why it's they got it out so quickly.
So okay, that's good info then. So they probably had it ready and
Exactly, they
couldn't
probably just had
post
to
it.
hold off.
That's cool. I wonder if Iron Man collectors are gonna get this, because I don't even know if it appeals to Iron Man collectors. I don't know.
I've
should.
always wanted the Lego, so I like I said, if this goes cheap enough, I might be interested in it.
It looks like damn Legos, honestly.
Wow, I like the colors. It reminds me of street art or graffiti, so I like the colors
Yeah.
of it. It's not for me.
Well, and one of the things that I like most about Iron Man is Tony Stark. His journey from being an arrogant butthole that just cares about himself to somebody who actually is willing to self-sacrifice and jump in front of the bullet. Right? And I think this is a good representation of his actual character inside the character's heart. And so I think if you're an Iron Man collector, hopefully you're not just collecting the suits because they're cool, but because you actually like the reason behind the suit. And the reason behind this suit is a good reason. So I like it more for that reason.
Yeah,
for that
just
reason.
because they're cool.
Just because they're cool. They're pretty cool.
Let them
If that's your reason, I'm no shame.
35% off around $320 would you cop? No, this would have to be like $150 to $200, and I'd give it a serious look personally, but you guys' mileage may vary. Manny makes a great point here. This paint job reminds me of the 90s Spurs logo. There you go, the Fiesta logo.
I like the
And,
Coolio's comment.
I'll wait for the Venomized version of this. Let's see here. Iron Man Mark II 2.0. This one is $455, releasing January to June 2025. I believe this is our first figure that we see occupying that June 2025 release time frame. Typically, up to this point, they've been October 24 to March 25, so we're starting to get into the middle of 2025. I think this figure looks absolutely stunning. It was rumored to be announced earlier last week after Tuesday's show, and then I think by like Saturday we had seen the sort of the poster. I don't know if it was a secret base or whatnot, but we saw the poster and the sort of the display stuff, and we got this dropped a few days ago. So I think the portrait looks okay. I think it's this typical Mark III, quote unquote, like young Tony look that they've been giving us. We also do get a ton of different interchangeable parts. I believe there's a slide here. Here it is. They have over 100 chrome armor pierces with reflective and metallic finish. So this is certainly going to be a piece that you want to glove up when you handle it. The oils in your fingers will eat the chrome paint if you are not careful. So definitely be sure to watch that when you're handling it. We do also get the LED lineup figure stand with the articulation points imitating what we see in the film with the gantry. And this is the full Hall of Armor display now complete with marks 1 through 7 in sort of the 2.0/3.0 look. I do worry though with Hot Toys. I think the scale of these things is kind of getting ridiculous. In fact, let me pull up the photo if I can find it. But it seems like there's this scale creep that is happening with all their figures, and I'm wondering at what point are they going to pick a scale. This one, let me see here, because the one that it is replacing isn't really that old of a figure, and I believe it was an improved body mold. I think it was, at least, but you can see here the MMS 733 D59 compared to the 431 D20, and I want to say I'm almost certain that this D20 was an improved upon mold of the diecast Mark III, because I remember everyone saying, well, now that they have this, they should re-release the Mark III. And so for this one to be even just a little bit bigger than that one, I start to wonder at what point do these become inaccurate in terms of the scale. And we've seen that. Niculio made an excellent Instagram post with his Batman figures, the Armory Batman versus the new Pattinson. And Pattinson's a fucking monster compared to Bale. And Bale wasn't big, but he's also, they're the same height in universe. So I worry a bit about scale creep. And
it does look like 2017, Zach, to your point.
2017, yeah. But this was their improved scale from I think it was 2015, 2016, the diecast Mark III. So it's like they've improved the scale once and then they're improving it again. So it almost forces you, if you want to have them, all be somewhat in scale with each other, to upgrade everything to the new scale. And I don't love that, especially if these are supposed to be 1/6 scale collectibles. The height of the armor isn't changing. They're just arbitrarily making these things larger.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I noticed that way back when in the first Avengers line, the Thor was like as tall as fucking Black Widow, and I was like, that's not a thing. Like, Thor should be taller than everybody. And he looked goofy next to everybody else. And then as they got, newer and better, they start getting more accurate. But then the Iron Mans just started getting like way too fucking big. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I know it's a guy in a suit, but it wouldn't change his proportions. Like, if he was standing in his suit, his foot would be like halfway through his shin. Like, it would look weird. So yeah, it's interesting because the Iron Mans just seem to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, so this is one that I'm incredibly excited by, mostly because I just got that Mark III 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever it's labeled as. And that's a fantastic figure. Yes, it is very big. Like, it's large, but in my mind, in this original Iron Man film, like, those suits were really tanking, and so I feel like it fits what I recall. I know we talked about the Bane 2.0 being really, like, his body is huge, but in my mind, that's how it looked in the film. So I'm kind of okay with this being a bit out of scale if it is, but I guess that's tough if you're trying to mash it up with other Avengers. But I think, like, all the chrome plating, all the swap out pieces, yeah, 455, I think we said, right? It's a pretty tough pill to swallow, or a tough nut, as one may say. But yeah, so I still want Hot Toys to improve on the light ups. Like, I still want them to continue to evolve. But in terms of where this falls with the most recent Iron Man releases, I think this is a really nice addition to kind of that line, and then I'll wait 4 years and they'll do this again with all those features that we've been asking them to add. But yeah, I think this is one that I definitely will be adding to the collection. I like that it comes with a head sculpt, because they could have easily not added a head sculpt, so there's a little bit more value there and a little bit more for me to say, okay, maybe the price is semi-justified. But yeah, looks great, but not incredibly exciting overall.
So, like, I mean, I missed on the 2017 release of this. I think it's a beautiful suit, especially the comparison. Sometimes it pisses me off when they show a comparison to what was previously released, because it does kind of feel like it slaps the collectors in the face a little bit of the people who invested their money in that version. But they gotta improve it, right? Which is fair. It does highlight for me, though, how small the Mark 1 suit actually is. Like, when I close my eyes and think back to that Iron Man, that first film, when he gets out of the cave in that suit, he feels pretty hulking in comparison to like a normal dude, right?
Yep.
And then you see that suit in figure form, and it's like, why is it so weirdly small? If you wanted to place the Mark 1 right beside the Mark 2, it's going to be a stark, pardon the pun, difference in battle armor and how big it actually is. Nucleo's slide was really interesting earlier today with that Armory Batman and the new Pattinson Batman, because even there the scaling was quite large, like Zach said. But for Iron Man, I feel like you can kind of futz it away up to a certain extent, because it is a dude in a suit. I don't think his legs would be at his ankles or his shins, kind of like Dean was saying. I think it would need to be a bigger suit around a human body. So, like, fair in terms of that. It's the Mark 1 that I think drives me the craziest, because I do think this looks like an improvement over the first, and the fact that they've given us it in diecast now helps to kind of match that diecast line that's available to collectors. So it's beautiful. I'm very much on the fence with this one. This is one that I'm trying to tell myself that I don't need, because I didn't pull the trigger on the Mark III, and even that one I'm still a little on the fence. The whole reason I bought the Mark VII was because, in my opinion, it looked closest to the Mark III. That, iconic scene with him walking through the desert, blowing shit up. I love that scene. The Mark VII at the time was the closest I could get to that look. Mark III now exists. Then there's the Mark II. Like, how many Iron Man suits do I need? Am I an Iron Man suit collector? It's hard to know. They're cool, though. So
it's pretty easy to slip into not an Iron Man collector to an Iron Man collector. I would say
all of a sudden,
I'm
right?
Not really, right?
Yeah.
But now that
All
I've
of
got
a sudden.
the 3, I want the mech test. I'm looking at the 1, and I've got the 5, and I'm like, oh yeah, now I'm starting to add quite a few Iron Men here. So you start seeing where there's gaps in your collection, and it's a slippery slope.
Okay.
Yeah, so to go back to this point here just briefly, so Nicolio, again, I apologize I didn't ask for your permission beforehand, but this was such an excellent demonstration here. So these are meant to be the same height in universe. So the 1/6 scale, the idea of it hasn't changed, right? I mean, it's still, a 6-foot man is 12 inches and vice versa. And so for this to be the difference in height, it's kind of scary. And like Dean said, right, you're going to have an issue now with these Iron Man figures where if you pose them next to your other Avengers characters, they're not all going to be that same 1/6 scale factor. So
what do you mean meant to be the same height in universe? Why do you keep... They're not in the same universe.
Like, they're both 6 foot tall.
well, they're both 6 foot tall men. Is what
Robert
6 foot,
Pattinson
whatever.
is 6'1", and Bale is 6 foot.
The actors are.
Okay, but what are you saying? Batman? They're meant to be Batman?
no,
They're meant to be the actor, though.
The difference in 1/6 scale, this is more than a 1-inch scale difference. So that'd be 1/6 of 1 inch, basically. But this is a
They
much
don't
bigger
look
difference.
that far off, though. They
There's
don't
a
look like an
whole-
Okay,
inch
so then
off.
you use this image then. These are very clearly the same armor
I'm just
by
saying
the same
you
company.
keep going back to that one. They are different heights. He's bigger, so that he should be bigger.
Okay, let's
Not
let's
as-
go. Let's stay here though. Same armor, same company. I don't understand why they keep
Also,
making
this-
this scale different.
This, if you look it up, he's the same height as Captain America, the Endgame one. So he's not bigger. So apparently the previous Mark II is underscaled.
Yeah, 100%. But that's the point, right? Because they did the Mark III, then they made this Mark II bigger, and then
So I
they now
think
made it bigger again. So the scale, what I'm trying to say is the scale that they're using for
With
1/6,
the other-
it's almost like one. I don't say 1/5 because that's an extreme, but you're almost getting to like 1/5/8 scale, right? Like where you're starting to slide.
1/6. I think that was underscaled. I understand
guess-
what
I
you're
guess my-
saying, but that
maybe
was
I'm not saying it
underscaled.
well.
This is 1/6.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is they did it once, they got it wrong. They did it again. They got it wrong.
But now it's
and now they're
correct.
doing it again. I guess I don't understand why it takes 3 times to get it right.
Now it's more correct in the newer
it's more
figure.
correct. What you're
It's-
saying, yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
it's-
what Red Wolf is saying as well. Let me see if I can find.
Also,
his-
I think it would have been better if they showed it next to the Mark III instead of the previous,
oh, that
Mark
would be
II.
bad though.
They're
They're talking about the old Mark III or
no, the
one?
new
No, the
Mark
one that
III.
just came
They
out.
should have showed it next to
Yeah.
that because that's
This is
what
just a
matters.
repaint.
Because you're not
Right.
going to pose this next to this old Mark II.
Well, that's what Hot Toys does though. They always show you like, oh, so you may have the old version, but this
Old
is
busted, new hotness.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, that's a great point though.
And also that that stupid Batman thing. Sorry, Niculio, I love you, dude. But that's not the newest Batman coming out. So that height difference might be a
No, but the
is the
DX19,
armory,
the DX19 is significantly
Yeah.
taller than the DX12 that I've got. in my
okay, but
collection,
there's
like a whole head
another
over.
one coming out. I get
there's
what you
another-
guys are saying.
Yeah.
But also, you got to compare it to the newest one, not the
But you don't
old
want to
one.
have to. But the point is, you don't want to have to replace
That
your whole
is
freaking
on you.
collection. You
I
don't want to
hate
have to
those
replace.
arguments.
You
I
don't want
hate
to have to
those
replace your
arguments. I
whole
hate 'em.
collection because they
I
fucked
hate
up
them.
the scale originally.
That was your choice.
But
that was your
but-
choice.
But you
bought
say that
it.
now. If you buy this now, and then in 10 years from now they decide to
Then I buy
readjust
another
what
one.
6 scale. Why?
That's
what?
also
in
not
deep.
chrome.
He's
That's also not chrome.
It's not gonna be. It's not gonna
That
be
is
10
on
years,
you.
Ben. It'll be 5
7
or
years.
less.
Yes, that's
I
true.
just-
This
that's
was
what
only
Ben was saying.
2017. This is.
At the end of the day, my point is, I just want them to fucking pick a
Yes,
scale.
you guys want
and-
everything to be perfect, and you want
I want
to
it
be
to be
giving it to
perfect.
you the right
I don't
way.
You know
want to
what?
spend my
While
money
we're at
for
it,
3
another one.
times.
Can we get the pants prints? I'm just kidding.
Nicolio was like, you weaponized something that wasn't even the point I was trying to make.
I'm
but
sorry,
thank you
Nicolio.
anyways.
I'm sorry. That's a good point, though, Eddie. I think you're probably right that it is more accurate, but it just makes everything else like, you know, when you have an MCU figure now, like Dean said, everyone's going to be all mixed and match, and it would bother me personally.
But I appreciate the company evolving, creating new stuff. Obviously, it's a reissue or a 2.0 or a 3.0, but it's like they are improving on it instead of like, here's the same old mold that we've been using for forever. So I appreciate the direction it's going.
It's been a long time since I've watched Iron Man 1. There's some battle damage parts here, or at least they seem battle damaged. Maybe it's just the reflection.
I think it's just the lighting. I think it's chrome
Oh, is it?
and then just
Yeah, because I don't remember this
one's pretty
armor
crispy.
ever getting any
Oh,
like
this is-
damage outside of
wants
when
to add the
I mean, he scrapes it up against the floor when he flies
but not
out.
he doesn't like fight
Oh,
in
yeah.
this armor, right?
No, it's just,
Well,
it's just
this-
in the tester lab.
This
right?
is just the flight where he does.
I mean, he
the
throws
one-
a coat of paint on the Mark II and calls it the Mark III. It's
Yes,
the
but
same
that's-
suit.
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying like as it's this chrome look, it doesn't do any battle, right? He just flies it.
Not
and
battle,
then-
but it does get damaged. Yes.
correct. Okay. There you go. Bertus says we should just not pay attention to heights. Dude, I'm like a fucking stickler for that shit.
It's crazy though. 'cause,
Maybe
like,
it's just me, but that shit really
Ignorance
bothers
is
me.
bliss,
my
baby.
peacemaker
Short
in
kings are
the
obsessed with height.
my peacemaker.
That's true.
In comparison to my Bane, my original Bane, like the 1.0 Bane, like that Bane looks so freaking tiny now in comparison to the new scale of a Peacemaker. It's insane. Different actors, obviously, but like huge difference in size.
One thing I would also say to that though, we saw it in the chat today. Never ever ever confuse actor height with character height. Those are not the same thing at all.
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. is a short king. He's 5'6". In universe, I don't know. This is what the chat is saying. 6'6" is his height in the armor, and 6 foot is his height without the armor. So gained 6 inches, which we could all be so lucky.
It's a lot.
Are the I'm done arguing.
No, this
No,
is a good.
I'm curious.
You
We're
keep
having a good
saying
discussion.
in universe. The movie isn't made to. If it was in universe, Chris Hemsworth would be 6'9".
I don't understand what you're saying.
Thor is 6'9".
In the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron
Thor
Man
is 6'9".
Okay,
In the Marvel, not like in the movies.
in the
they're
MCU,
whatever,
Thor is 6'9".
They're whatever
is what you're
height
saying.
the actor is.
They're
There is
not-
no.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so there is no like.
It's like we just said.
we
Robert Downey
completely-
Jr.
yeah,
is
we're on
only
the
like
same page.
5'6", 5'7".
But when they
Yeah, I
shoot him in the
disagree with
movie,
point
he's
Eddie's
as tall
making,
as
but yeah,
he's as tall as
What point
Captain
am I
America.
making, Margot?
you're saying
I don't
in
know
the
what you're saying.
movies the characters are as tall as the actor. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what I
Yes,
heard.
but not Iron Man because Iron Man's in a suit. He's the same height as Chris. If you go look at Avengers
Yeah.
and
Even
you
on
look at
screen-
Iron Man next to Cap, they're the same size. So
Yeah,
whatever
correct.
Cap
because
is,
of camera
that's
tricks
what
and
Iron Man
stuff,
should
though.
be.
Yeah, but
I think because
that's
of camera
camera
tricks, they
tricks,
could
though.
shoot people
Yeah, but even
much larger
Tony
than they.
Stark next to Captain America is the same height.
Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing, Eddie. What I'm saying is they're not
They
shooting
still-
Robert Downey.
They would make Tony Stark. So then Tony Stark would still, the hot toy would be the same size as Chris Hemsworth as the Captain America 2 then.
In theory, if Hot Toys is
That doesn't
the
make
correct
any fucking
scale.
sense.
Well, because Zach said he's
what we've been
5'6" in
saying.
real life, but they make him look 6 foot in the movie.
There you go.
universe
It's sort of
movie.
like if you look at a lot of Tom Cruise movies, I think he's like 5'4".
It's a great
They
example.
shoot him as
Oh,
a 6 foot.
Tom Cruise is not that
Yeah,
Is he really?
he's pretty
so
short.
tiny.
Yeah,
He's
he
super
doesn't
tall.
let. Yeah. The way
But
that
then
they
him next to
film
Haley
him-
Atwell,
I
for
know.
example, like they made him look
I guess
as tall
Eddie,
as
do
Haley
you get what
Atwell.
we're saying?
No, I know
I think
that-
we agree. I think
No,
we
I
agree.
know that
He's 5'7".
that the actors are
that's
filmed to be taller, but
fake news.
I didn't look at a picture of Tony next to Chris Hemsworth in the or next to Chris Evans in the movie. Like I'm just saying, the Iron Man
Wait,
next
so
to
is
Cap
Thor really
in the
6'9"?
picture is the same height. So if
Yeah,
this
that's-
comes
yeah,
out the
exactly.
same height as the Endgame Cap,
Then that's a win,
Then it's
yeah.
a good
I
Now,
follow
if it's
that
bigger
logic.
though,
is.
if
That
it's
makes
bigger
sense.
though, then I have an issue. You know what I mean?
They're the
That's
same
what I'm
size
saying.
though. I look well at least
According to
on
the
Sideshow's
graphics.
site,
Yeah.
they're the same height. So
Gotcha.
They just never better change it again at this point, Eddie. That's
Yeah, this
That's my whole
motherfucker.
thing.
but
I swear to
They
God,
will.
if they give us a 3.0, I'm gonna be fucking. I'm gonna
It's
lose
It's
my
gonna
shit.
happen, man. It's
know
the
they
risk of
are.
this hobby, man.
In 5 years.
This was a lot of controversy. I didn't quite get it. If Nick is in the chat, I need Nick to comment because I'll be honest, I didn't really get the issues with this, but the or maybe if any of you guys know, the Hot Toys
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire No Way Home figure was released. I thought it looked excellent. I saw one post today where someone was complaining about the way the side profile looks, and you see it's a neck with a head on top of it. It's not one piece. People were complaining about that, but I think this figure looks excellent. I think the blogger photos, showing off the full collection, I'm very impressed with it. It seems like a lot of people weren't, though. I saw Riley. I didn't get to watch his video, but Riley had made a video where he seemed pretty disappointed, at least from the just a few minutes that I watched it.
I definitely
Nick, if
did
you're in the
watch
chat,
the
let us
video.
know.
Yeah, so I'm sure
Yeah,
Nick
so what
can
was his
highlight
issues?
more, but I think it's the body that they chose. I think similar to the black suit Superman,
Sure.
Superman,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, where the body just isn't beefy enough. I think that was one of their issues. And then the other is just the webbing in the eyes on the mask. I think that the reference that Marvel used for No Way Home, they didn't necessarily make it look as great as the original Spider-Man films.
Which was intentional.
Yeah.
They changed the design for the movie to make it look on the mask specifically. There's a whole series of YouTube videos where it's like not even really the same mask anymore.
Got it. So it's an evolution of it, perhaps, and so I guess it's the reference that Hot Toys use and how that translates to a figure. Again, Nick's in the comments; he can probably highlight more, but those
Sure.
were the big issues I saw them make.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that was a big complaint that a lot of people had with the film. They said it, the suit, something about it felt different, and it's just because of the way that they.
It was quite different. It was
They've done
quite
that,
different.
yeah.
But Hot
Here's-
Toys has mirrored that video game version quite a bit more. I totally agree with that.
Sure. So Nick says the body is fine on this figure because in No Way Home he's a scrawny older dude. It doesn't work for Spider-Man 3 though because he's absolutely jacked in the film. I would say counterpoint. I believe this is marketed as a No Way Home figure, unlike the Amazing Spider-Man, which is marketed as the Amazing Spider-Man 2, if I'm not mistaken. At least I think on all the other, like the Hasbro and the Figuarts, they were all marketed as such. I like it. I think it looks great.
You're saying the black suited Spider-Man was marketed.
No,
It
no,
would have
no.
been marketed.
The Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield.
Oh, it is Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
2.
it's
You're
not
right. Yeah.
branded as No Way
No,
Home.
it's not.
None of these were branded as No Way Home.
No, it's not. Oh, but Nick's comparing that black suited Spider-Man with where the black suited Spider-Man at the time was really jacked, but the figure body looks really scrawny, similar to this version. So he's saying this version isn't that bad because he kind of looked like that in No Way Home, but he did not look like that in Spider-Man 3. He was
I
a
got
lot more
bamboozled by
filled
the
out.
thumbnail. It seemed like everyone was upset about it. So I if you're in the chat and you're upset about it, let me know. But this is the difference between 2002, 2004, 2007, and 2021. You see the way that the brow, it's like a totally different shape. I believe even the number of webs is different. It's a very different suit, and I believe the processes by which they made the suit are different as well. So, I don't mind it, but I thought the figure looked badass. Curious what you guys think.
So update on this one. I did get my notification from Sideshow today to say that this figure is now delayed as well until February, March. So if you guys order this from Sideshow, you may or may not get a similar email. But, it sucks in a way because we had just seen this showcased, a week or two ago in that big, group picture and Spider-Man's there. And it's like, it's coming soon and we're all excited. And then... sure enough, it's a delay. So even though it's a release announcement this week, so it feels a little confusing. In a way, it feels a little bit like trying to get money out of collectors. But I could be wrong about that.
But they didn't ask for your money there, though, right?
I'd already paid mine off, so I don't know. I don't know about other people.
Did you pay it off because you saw the coming soon picture?
No, I'd slowly paid it off over a payment plan over the last couple months. But it's also one of the most expensive figures that I've had on order in the last year.
You're getting the deluxe with the Sandman base.
Yes, I have to.
What's
look back,
crazy
but I'm pretty
is
sure,
I'm looking
It's
at
expensive,
Eddie's
over $400.
I'm looking at Eddie's email here, and his is delayed as late as May. It's February to May on his. So you said yours was March, which is, that's May is like, god damn.
Actually, now that I say that,
I'm not trying to correct you, but I'm saying like
No,
some
let
people
me
are
just
getting
double
pushed
check.
back to May. That's
nope.
5
Sorry,
months from
I
now.
apologize. It is May, February to May of 2024. Thank you for that correction. 100%.
So I do feel strongly about this. Only in that, and maybe this is a privileged position because there's so much stuff coming out. I feel like there's plenty of figures to focus on, and I know folks are very excited by this, but. When they say, okay, it's been delayed, but it's going to come within this window, it's like, hey, we've announced that it's released. It's probably going to hit within this window. It's on its way. I think that's like a really positive thing. So I know folks get bummed, but I'm like, that's way better than the no communication. We have no clue when it's coming out. Like that's actually a sign that things are moving and that you're going to get your figure soon. So I saw a lot of folks that were like pretty down on like, oh, well, I might cancel now. And I'm like, you've waited this long. Like what? I don't understand that logic. Like it is coming very, very soon. Like just be patient. In my mind, that's how I feel. So I cringe a little bit when folks are just like all up in arms, like, it's been delayed again, but is released over here. It's like, it's coming soon.
That is a good point, Marco, because even like with the Wolverine that I was waiting from Sideshow, its release pictures now came out, I want to say at least a month ago. A lot of collectors have already had it in hand from, overseas or, other ways of getting it other than Sideshow. But like for me in Canada, that's kind of the way that I go. And it's like, it finally charged me my shipping today, literally. And it said that I'll have it in the next 10 days for Wolverine.
Let's go.
So I'm excited for that. But kind of to your point though, there was no communication. I just saw that it was released, but then it was just like radio silence waiting for me to finally get the email that will say that it's taken the shipping cost. Right. So in that sense, I do at least appreciate, like you said, that there's a window, but it's a pretty extended window. Like if you have to wait as far as May, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah.
We've already been waiting at least a year. That's a long push for something that they're saying is released, which is weird.
Well, also we've been very fortunate in 2023. I think this is like pretty normal. I think when Dean and I first started collecting, it was always like 3 to 6 months afterwards. Lately, it's been like almost simultaneous, or a week later. I think even with Eddie, because Eddie got his Wolverine, and it was a while before any of us started seeing ours. So, I think they've been getting better. I think this one just might have, just the way that it released wasn't
maybe
as
just
good as it has been.
Global disruptions.
Well, it's also the
perhaps.
holidays. Yeah.
I will just say, so let me contradict myself here for a second. If you do actually get it in hand by May, that would be comparable to kind of the delay that we saw with that in-art Joker. And I know that, I wasn't particularly happy about that. So I guess I'll kind of take a step back on what I said and say, if it's really that extreme, then perhaps that's something to get worked up on. But I think that they're going to push it out sooner rather than later.
And there isn't a better likeness of Tobey Maguire that exists. This is still going to be the figure to have if that's the character that you want in your collection. So in that sense, I think it is worth the additional wait. At least they've communicated it, but that's a while. It's a while.
Big old Fern is saying, like Dean once said, I already don't have it, so I don't mind waiting a couple more months. That's kind of where I land, honestly. I'm trying to be patient. I know it's easy to be impatient in this hobby and like, I want it now, I'm going to go overseas, but that kind of costs you every now and then.
What OG Fans says, they are shipping the Inquisitor and Reva the day they came out. Again, I think that's a very privileged, like Marcus, it's a very privileged position that we're getting them the same day. Maybe they put Toby on the boat, right before the holiday season. It's just taken longer than expected. I mean, we're not really privy to any of this information, so it's just basically speculation.
And there are like certain global disruptors that have been going on right now in terms of shipping, right? So that could be playing into a
Tsunami,
factor.
bro. Eddie, what do you think about?
Do they normally drop stuff Sunday nights? Is that normal?
I don't keep
'Cause
track
I-
of that.
Because
Personally,
I'm thinking maybe Sideshow, because everything else Sideshow's had a first release video on, or first whatever video, I forget what they're called. But anyway, I think Hot Toys just wanted to drop a figure on New Year's for us, New Year's Eve, and maybe Sideshow wasn't ready for this one, and that's why it's getting delayed. And maybe the other ones, Sideshow had already had that one figure that they could do the video on and send to Terry or whatever. And this one, since Hot Toys was like, oh, let's drop a New Year's thing for them to be hyped on, and it was a Toby one too. So I'm thinking that's why it's delayed.
But
This
it's
is-
also sorry to interrupt you, Eddie. It's also funny though that last week we were looking at again that group shot of everything that's coming soon. Well, I would argue that May isn't soon, and yet they didn't include the Multiverse of Madness Scarlet Witch in there. So like that would be one I would expect to get an email on to say, Ben, sorry, this figure's delayed because we didn't even tell you it was coming soon. Like
But is that-
And you
soon
saw that,
isn't
folks.
May.
Yeah. And you got a delay email for her? Because I saw that some folks did. On
I
Monday.
haven't yet, but I'm
Okay.
She's on
The-
order, so I'm sure I'll probably get it.
That picture with all the Hot Toys, who released that? Sideshow or Hot Toys?
Hot Toys.
Hot Toys.
And who? I think we are comparing Sideshow to Hot Toys, and Hot
I guess
Toys
that's a
is-
good point. That's a good point.
The-
Sideshow's a distributor for Hot Toys. It's not. that's
Yeah,
not
so
the
if
same
Side-
Sideshow
the part
said
is-
it's releasing soon,
That's
then
true.
I'd be pissed. But
Like Zach's saying, though, like there's been inconsistencies, right? Because during the pandemic, things were taking a long, long time. Then they've gotten really tight. Like, oh, when it releases over there, it's coming over here pretty soon. And now maybe
been
we're starting to see. Now we're starting to see a gap again. That's kind of what the early indications are, but we don't know. We just don't know.
I
And it's got. Go ahead.
go ahead, Zach.
No,
I was
you're
gonna say I like the delay because I can cancel shit and get my non-refundable back. There you go. So I canceled this because I got the delay too. Got my non-refundable back because I was telling Marco the other day. I ordered the deluxe and I don't even want that base. Like I don't like the deluxe bases.
Yeah.
Because they take up a lot of room. So I was able to cancel that, get my money back, and I'm gonna order the collector edition from Pop Culture because it's a decent price. So, and that's the only place I saw that had it in stock, but I didn't really check around that much. But it was a good price there, so I'll probably get the collector edition from there. So I don't mind the delays. I can get annoyed if it's something I really really want, but at least I get my non-refundable back when it happens.
Fuck. On the flip side of that, though, we were told January to March for the comic-inspired Spider-Man, the exclusive one. Motherfuckers are charging us on Friday. I got try to come up with a bunch of fucking cash in the middle of the week. It's like, bro, you couldn't have told me this on Friday
That's a
of
big
last
one,
week.
too.
Like,
It's like a
dude,
die-cast Iron
that's
Man.
expensive.
What month is it?
Wow.
Well, no, I understand that, but don't fucking tell me it's January to March and it's fucking January. Just tell me January. Fucking
Well,
pre-ordered the
that's
thing
not
like
really
a
how
week
it
ago.
works, but yeah.
I
you're-
get it. It's 100% my fault. I just assumed
Yeah.
that it would be February at the earliest.
yeah,
I got fucking bamboozled.
that's
I'm
good.
with-
But you
you
probably,
know.
anyways.
I'm with
In,
Manny on his point. He says he can't wait for Toby. Just might cry when he unboxes them.
Yeah.
The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man back in the year 2000 really opened my eyes sitting there as a kid watching that film as like what superhero movies could be and like
Yeah,
the direction they
changed a lot.
could go. And it like for me, it's like in terms of collectibles in the collection, it is one that I've been very highly anticipating. I know it's the No Way Home version of Toby, but doesn't matter. Can't wait for that suit in the collection.
Ben, just
so.
movies in general, watching that like changed
Heck yeah,
me. I
dude.
was just like, now this is a
yeah.
fucking movie. When I was a kid, I was like, now this is something
yeah.
here. So, yeah, no, I can't wait for it too. But I feel like I could be patient. There's just so much good stuff dropping this year. But if you're a collector and only getting a few things a year, then I could understand you're getting impatient.
There you go.
The in some pictures of the Toby too, the proportions look better than others. Like this one, I feel like he looks too slim, and then in another picture he has better traps and shoulders and arms, and so maybe the black suit would be like that. But
Manny.
I was looking at comparisons, and they really CGI'd the hell out of the black suit in Spider-Man 3. Like he's like real squared up. Like it's crazy. It is a big difference on that one. So I didn't really notice that in my mind's eye, but this one looks good and different. It's all about the different pictures, and I'm sure in hand it'll be pretty damn good. I was surprised by the Andrew in hand. It was really good. I was surprised by the Logan in hand. It was really good. So I'm betting this one will be the same one.
Your take on Andrew made me want him more because I never really totally thought the likeness was there, but the fact that you're so excited about it, I'm like, and then some of the mods I've seen to make his eyes like whiter and stuff, I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty freaking cool. It's kind of want that now, but
There you go. Well, we'll see if I'm still happily married after this Friday when they fucking charge my fucking credit card for less money.
Man.
Let's see here. Hot Toys put an announcement before the new year. Get ready for an incredible start of the year 2024 because we have a major surprise for you. Hot Toys is proud to announce the expansion of our collection through the acquisition of several highly acclaimed production and iconic movie licenses. They have the Marvel 85th anniversary, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace 25th anniversary, Star Wars Dark Side, which I don't know what that is, Batman 85th anniversary, and many more. They really did Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary real dirty, so I don't really know what to expect for any of these. I feel like that anniversary, to me personally, is more means more than a lot of these other ones. But it's great to see that again, they are communicating with us. They're kind of sort of preheating the oven for us. So I know Eddie would be really excited to see several figures from episode 1. So, I think that collection is going to get built up quite a bit, and hopefully they don't double dip, preserve some value for the Qui-Gons and the Darth Maul DX figures. So this will be really cool to see. Is there anything that you guys want to see from these potential anniversary licenses? I think a Jar Jar
I would love to see. Yeah, so the Batman 85th anniversary, I don't know if anyone else here on the panel has more information. I tried to search and I can't really find exactly what that's pertaining to, but I would love to see like more comic inspired or video game inspired Batman. Now, maybe if it was video game inspired, they would have denoted that already, but yeah, all the Batman in various iterations is really what I want to see. And then episode 1, Zach, like you said, preserving the quality of the Darth Maul and other releases that they've done in the past. I'd be fine if they did another Darth Maul. I've got the episode 1 version, but there's a lot of weak points to it. So they could, do a reissue or a 2.0 and make a banger of a figure, and maybe don't add the bike, so you preserve something there. So that's what I want to see. Ben, how about you?
You get a slightly taller Darth Maul. Made me fucking laugh my ass off. That's an amazing comment. That's amazing. Queen Amidala, for sure. I think in her, especially her main robes. But give us every version of Padme that exists. She's a badass character. She's got some really cool looks. And if Natalie Portman's given her likeness, I don't see why not. A kid Anakin, I think, is something that a lot of collectors would want. It's not something that I would bring to the collection, but I would love to see it done. I think a lot of people would. Seeing the transition from Anakin from his kid form right through to the dark side version, and then him with the split mask from the Obi-Wan version into Vader, like that. I mean, if you love Anakin Skywalker, it's a necessity piece. It really is. And with companies like InArt being able to make pretty effective, like Harry Potter style sized characters, I don't see why they couldn't give us a kid Anakin. It's not something that I would bring in, but I think it would be cool to see. Jar Jar Binks used to be my favorite from the Phantom Menace when I was 10 years old. So if they did it well, I would definitely consider getting that Gungan in the collection. In terms of Batman, I would love to see a Hush Batman, some of the Nightfall series Batmans, like just that whole style of comic inspired outfit where it's more of like a gray cloth material with the blue and the yellow emblem. Like I'd really, really like to see that added in. It would be interesting to see if they revisit the 66 line as well, because a lot of people have missed on that. I know Saturn Toys has given us some 66 versions, and Mars Toys is also giving us some 66 villains. It wouldn't surprise me if Hot Toys is wanting to capitalize on those dollars and actually make their own licensed version of the 66. So stay tuned there. But then lastly, I'd also like to see some Batman Returns figures. If Marvel isn't going to be that prevalent this year, go and give us a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, give us a Danny DeVito Penguin. The Batman Returns line, in my opinion, is one of the most underbaked 6-scale lines from Hot Toys. Give us more. Why not? Especially if you can't give us a Jack Nicholson Joker. Like, go returns, then there's a lot of shit there that's awesome. So this definitely excites me. But I also caution the collectors, just kind of like we were talking about earlier with the Iron Man, Eddie, like if you bought 1.0 versions of some of these characters, there's a good chance you'll see 2.0 versions. I would not be surprised if we saw an artisan Qui-Gon Jinn, for example. I would not be surprised. Qui-Gon, my apologies. It's the beer. Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
So, would not
Queefed
surprise
on him.
me. So, because that character notoriously had pretty bad posability with the hair, right? The sculpted hair.
Yeah.
He seems like a great candidate for artisans. So, and I don't think we've ever seen a Padawan Anakin from my recollection. So we'll see.
Yeah. Pod Racer Annie, Obi-Wan, Watto.
Watto, nice.
Dean,
And
what
then-
would Watto sound like?
Hey. It would sound like it. Never mind.
Jesus Christ.
Is it
Sound
racist?
like he sat on his nuts.
Also, Ben, we have seen Padawan Anakin. What are you talking about? It's about to come out.
The
Not
the
episode one.
Padme
Padawan.
companion
Padawan.
piece, but yeah.
You're
Okay,
on
Ben,
mute, so
you're
whatever
on
the
mute.
fuck you're saying.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
technically Attack of the Clones is a Padawan.
I guess he is still. Yeah. His little braid.
It's
We need a
unfair.
little braid.
85th, by the way, Marco, 85th anniversary is the debut of Batman in comics. It's the first when
Detective
the character
Comics
was created.
27.
Oh, okay, so it could be all the way back then. Thank you.
Yeah. And Darkseid, I think, is their way of giving us like Malgus and Revan
Oh, I see.
and
Yeah.
all that stuff without having like the KOTOR license and all that.
Bro, imagine.
So
Well, I think they would still need to have that license.
I don't know.
I mean,
don't know
I
how
don't know
that
how any of this works. Yeah. Eddie, do you think it would be possible, like a full pod racer? Someone said it's
Dude,
36 inches.
I don't know, man.
Because
Yeah,
it's
I
really
mean-
not a big craft, right?
Yeah.
Like it could fold down quite a bit.
So delicate,
Yeah,
though.
for
Can you
sure.
imagine, like the
Plus-
the
No,
extended
just
pieces?
magnets
It's
and like a
wires.
bendy wire. Yeah, magnets and a
Yeah.
bendy wire, bro.
Can't see it.
So technically,
I've
you
seen
could
Hot
even
Toys School.
fit it in. a
Okay, we all
smaller
thought
display.
the N1 was coming. There's people that think the N1's coming, so I mean, this is much more realistic to me.
Or at least give him the seat, like just the seat
Yeah,
part
just
without
the
turbines.
cockpit. Yeah,
yeah,
that would be
That
cool.
would be sick, dude.
Or even like a, it'd be cool, a DX with just the Naboo, just the cockpit of that. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah,
The
dude.
N1.
Didn't they show a Naboo starfighter before, or am I wrong?
They showed us the N1, the Silver Wars version.
Oh,
Mandalorian
okay.
one. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought they did a Naboo.
C-3PO stripped down, Pablo Mesa's
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
without the armor. We could see it.
Now that would be fragile. That seems like.
Oh,
All wires.
the Batman 85th thing. Like, I have a feeling that's more comic stuff.
I hope so.
maybe
I
Hono?
think-
Makes sense. That
hope
seems
so.
to make a lot
Maybe.
more sense.
But George Clooney, man, and Robin with the red suit.
I
instead
saw a
of the-
statue company making a Batman Robin statue soon, and I can't remember what company it was now. But I'm like,
Well,
ooh,
Prime One
maybe
is
if
made-
if
Prime
they're
One
going
just
George
came
Clooney.
out with him.
Okay, I don't think it was Prime One though, because that would have stood out
saw
to me.
that?
It was a different
Damn.
company. So, yeah.
There you go. Let's move on here so we can get through some of this. Flashpoint showed us a Blue Beetle under their space. They call it Space Beetle. This figure looks pretty good. It's got a special feature with luminous reflective, and that's activated by a black light, similar to a lot of the Hot Toys ones recently. And you get the wings, you get the sword. Wish we'd get some of the other weapons, but again, for a third-party company to be doing this, very cool. The arms on the back do have a little bit of articulation, so definitely a neat figure here, especially if you have some sort of way to activate that blacklight effect in the collection.
Yeah, I have the when this popped up, I was like, let me see what it looks like compared to the McFarlane one. So that's kind of the only figure we have to compare it to, and it's pretty close. It's pretty spot on. So I don't know how accurate the McFarlane version is. Usually they're pretty good. So I think if you really love this movie and you really need a Blue Beetle in your collection, that's a pretty solid candidate.
Yeah.
Although I have no idea who Flashpoint Studio is. I think we've seen some of their stuff.
They've made some
before.
other stuff.
They
yeah.
just
Yeah.
did 2 Deathstrokes. They've done other stuff, but they just did 2
Okay.
Deathstrokes, the Nightmare and the
They have a
one
Mira
from
also.
Justice League.
Okay.
and a Spawn.
I don't know how. Oh, that's right, the Spawn. it's a prototype from a third party, so it could really go either way. I've seen some third party come out that's just as good as the prototypes, and then I've also seen them come out. You're like, what the fuck is this? So, yeah, it's also not going to break the bank, so it's not too bad for the Blue Beetle.
Yeah, so to Dean's point on Flashpoint Studios, I've got that Deathstroke from Justice League, and he's pretty great, honestly. All the armor is die-cast, weapons die-cast. He comes with like a lot of detail in the weapons as well. So I'm a fan of this company, and definitely when this dropped and I saw it was from Flashpoint, and I think Eddie said like it looks like a Hot Toys release the way that they shot these pictures. Like it's a pretty high quality showing of the figure. I was pretty hyped, but I think the more that we've talked about it, the price I think is $315 on kit. It's missing some accessories. I've kind of gone back to on the fence where I like to stay. I'm very analytical when it comes to purchasing these things. And so like, I think that this is great that someone's doing it, but I don't know that this is the version that I necessarily want. Only because like, if he came with all of the weapons, it was more tricked out and they're asking that price. Okay, maybe I could justify because he's going to be likely die cast, but it feels a bit bare bones for them asking a pretty, and if I said 315, I apologize. It's 215.
I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. My 2s and my 3s get confused pretty easily. It's something my teacher talked to me about back in second grade, and I never fixed it. But yeah, so I think that it's going to be a nice release, but I'm just not 100% sure that this is the version I want.
Jose, fact checker, said it's 265, Marco. So fact checker for the win. Love you, Jose.
265. I don't know that it's 265. Let me just double check here.
No, Jose is wrong.
That seems high.
Fact checker is wrong. I checked it the other day.
Diecast material. I think if diecast material is present, they should advertise it as such. If that's not the case, they should adjust the price accordingly. I think this is beautiful in terms of figure likeness. This to me looks exactly like the character from the film. I can't see a company doing it much better than this. I agree with you, Marco. There are some notable exceptions to the accessories. The arm cannon, that is a pretty big piece of that film. The claw could have come with it. Like some of those pieces I think would have been cool, but I do think the sword was one of the more iconic like trailer pieces from the film. So like I can see people posing it with that. Eddie, I actually thought was going to be the most excited about this when I saw the announcement go up, and then his next comment was, "Where is Namor?" And I was like, "What? Didn't you just buy 2 different Blue Beetles? Like, aren't you the guy that's like waiting for this to come?" But I didn't love this movie. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was like about, like, I want to say porn acting was as close as you got to the acting caliber of this film. It was not good in terms of that piece of it. I liked some of it. I liked some of the cultural aspects of it. I did think some of it was fun. Well, right? It's a pretty confusing porn. But to me, I did not love this movie. I would not collect this figure. I felt like the suit did all the driving. I felt like it didn't need a human inside it in order to be just as effective, if not more effective by itself than with Jaime actually controlling it. I hated that aspect of the character. The only thing that I thought was cool was when I thought the kid died as the suit morphed around him, and then it didn't. And then he didn't. So I would not buy this. Unfortunately, racial. It's not racial, not at all. So
I said it seems like it.
I was. It is exciting. I do like it. Yeah, it's 214 on 1/6 kit. I was excited when they announced it. I thought it was a Hot Toy, like Marco said, and then I looked and it was a third party, but it still looks pretty damn good. I don't imagine Hot Toys will look like much better, but I do think that they need more accessories. I don't know why everybody is doing just the wings and the sword.
Yeah.
Like, well, even McFarlane on one of them gave you the claw and the little discs. So I don't know, man. It could have a lot more, especially for that price point, but it's still a pretty cool release, and I don't know if we're going to see a Hot Toys one. I would love to, but for some reason they're not, maybe because the movie didn't like do that well. I don't know what the exact box office was, but also though for me, I don't know that I need a 1/6 scale Blue Beetle because I really do love my McFarlane figures. I think they're really damn good. They look really good, so I might just stick with those, like, or if an import company makes one, I might get that, but I'm different. I collect both scales, so if you only do 1/6 scale, then this is probably a solid option, because Hot Toys is, if they do go all out with it and give it accessories, it could be a $300 figure, so this isn't like a crazy character. Like I like it more than Ben did, but also he's not like one of the best DC characters ever. So like I don't want to be spending $300 on him. So I think this is kind of your best bet, the best bang for your buck. So
there you go. Sam Giss says, shout out to 300 episodes. You guys now officially ready to jump the shark. Congrats, boys. Let's see here. Dean, we have Noctis Lucius, Final Fantasy. It says 13 versions, but I think it's 15. Yeah. 1/6 scale collectible figure. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is Noctis, Prince Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. This is the newest solicitation by Game Toys. I really, really love this game, so I will probably be picking this up. It's really confusing because there's 3 solicitations for it, but for the main figure, it's $250. It's on 1/6 kit right now. It comes with everything you see here: the hands, the 2 swords, the jacket, the head sculpt, the switch out arms. Which feels like you shouldn't have to explain it comes with a head sculpt, but the second solicitation is another body with the same accessories but no head sculpt, and it is $150. Kind of weird. But pre-order bonus, you get the same sculpt with red eyes. I don't remember the red eye thing in the game. I guess it's been a while since I played it, but I honestly can't recall him ever having red eyes. But if you know in the chat, let me know. And then there is a third solicitation where it's just his chair, his throne, which is pretty cool, and that's $155, which seems fucking ridiculous, but
I want that chair.
As far as I know, it's literally just the chair for $155. I honestly really want the chair with my Noctis, but I don't know if I want to spend $150 on it. But $250 for the base figure, I'm all in. Noctis is a really great character. It's such a I don't know if you guys have played Final Fantasy 15, but it is depressing as shit. It's a really sad game. And it kind of just makes you really love Noctis that much more. Yeah, it's a great game. So I will definitely be adding this to my collection.
Dude, you know how sick it is to have Game Toys be making this many characters for you? Like, they did Bleach, but they only did Ichigo, and then they did his hollow version.
Hollow form.
And they didn't even announce like any other of the captains or anything. So like,
yeah, it's weird.
And they seem to have done well. So Game Toys is a really great company. So this would be like the dream for any anime or like game company for this company to make a line.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy in the 6 scale world is like almost non-existent. So the fact that someone's doing it, and the fact that they started with Final Fantasy 7 is pretty fucking incredible for me, since that's like my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
But Final Fantasy 15, that's a pretty deep roster they could also go down. Noctis runs around in a group of 4 in the game. So they could easily do those characters.
Don't they drive in like a Chevy or like an Impala or something?
Yeah,
Oh my, is that the game that Conan O'Brien tried to play and he fucking roasted the shit out of it? Oh my god, that's one of the funniest videos ever.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien's he's so funny, dude.
Dude, he's like, what the fuck is the point of this game? Like, I don't know what we're meant to be doing. I don't know what I should be doing.
For anybody getting a Blade, I feel like this would be a sick chair for Blade to be sitting in.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a vampire character or any like mob character.
I feel in the world that we live in today, where you could 3D print almost whatever the fuck you want, for this to be $150 is insane.
That's true.
Like,
but also my resident 3D printer doesn't want to print anything for me. So
what the fuck, bro? How dare you?
Still
because I
waiting on
broke
my
my
Christmas ornament.
It's
so
because I okay. You know,
Whoa!
what? Fucking quit. This is the last episode.
Wow.
God.
We had a good run.
thank God.
Oh, you hate to see it. Well, 300.
299 and one half episodes.
All right, who lost the bet? No, I'm kidding.
How dare you?
Wow.
If you're watching live or on the replay, let us know, get it or not. Is there anything on tonight's show that you have to get? For me, no. I think maybe the Toby would be nice as a bargain bin figure, but I don't see that figure ever going dirt cheap. Maybe the Sakaran Iron Man, but again, the price I would pay is like 70% less than retail. So
Yeah.
it's not happening, probably. Dean, what about you? Obviously, the Game Toys Lucius.
Yeah, Noctis. I think that's about it, honestly.
Yeah, for me, Iron Man Mark II and Toby are definitely coming home.
Yeah, I've already got Toby on order and paid off, so that's coming. But the Mark II is, I'm a fence sitter. It looks really good, so maybe.
I have something else you could sit on too if you want to.
Wow!
Just
Let's
go after the
tell
show.
me off after the show.
Nasty. What about you, Eddie?
Mark II and Toby, for sure.
There you go. I want to thank our friends over at Collector Zone for allowing us to be a part of their affiliate program. They have some amazing customer service over there, doing some amazing things. I believe they're doing a statue con in July of this year. So if you're in that, where are they at? Where does
In
Dylan
Michigan.
live? Michigan. That's exactly what I was thinking. If you're in Michigan, you can go and check them out and RSVP for their statue con. They have an offer for us, 15% off all in-stock items and full pay pre-orders with the code CW. We get a very small kickback on that, and just helps you guys save some money, helps us put funds towards things like StreamYard and other things, and you guys get a great deal with a company that has, in my opinion, the best of the business customer service. So be sure to check them out. Collector Zone, amazing people, and they'll definitely have your back on all your Hot Toys and even other stuff. They actually do Warhammer too. So if you're into Warhammer, I know a bunch of our people are getting into that. They do Warhammer as well. So very cool. Now, this was making the rounds this week, and people had noticed that actually all of the items on Sideshow's site that they were taking screenshots of had gone up by $5. I believe if it's under 1,000, it went up by $5. If above 1,000, I think it went up by 10. And so the Sideshow group, they did make a post. They said, as the result of a variety of global challenges, including increased supply chain costs, we've had to adjust the prices on select products. In combination with this adjustment, Sideshow has also increased our commitment to finding even more high-quality collectibles to accommodate every budget. We are confident in this effort in combination with our payment plans, rewards programs, and frequent promotional opportunities. We will continue to provide exceptional value to dedicated fans like yourselves. Now, I have no problem with the company increasing prices. We've had to do it for CW. We've obviously, in the world that we live in, prices are going up every day on a number of things. And when you really think about it, the price appreciation on this is, if it's a $100 figure, it's 5%. If it's a $200 figure, it's 2.5%, which is, I'm not losing any sleep over that. And with the number of ways that you can get $5 in rewards on any purchase just by RSVPing to things, it's it's not a big deal. I do wish, though, that they had communicated this a bit more clearly beforehand, to have given collectors the opportunity to make those last purchases at the previous price points. I know when Jazzing Dioramas, when they had officially become licensed, they had, for I think it was like a few months, they had said like, hey, between now and this day, we will honor the old prices. Once licensing takes effect, we have to charge these new prices. Gave everyone a nice little heads up, and it's $5 a figure, but if you have 5-6 figures on your, want to buy list, that does add up. So I have no problem with them doing it. A lot of people are acting like it's the end of the world. I just wish that they would have given a little bit more communication and advance notice to collectors. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like you said, it's only 2 to 5%. which is not a huge deal today. Now, if they do another one in a couple months or, 3 months from now and then 6 months from now, and it's like, hey, when the fuck is this going to stop? Like, what? It's a slippery slope. You give someone an inch, they're going to want to take a mile. And if you just sit back and like, yeah, it's
Sometimes
$5,
they
I'm
just
cool.
take-
with
Really,
that.
when I give someone an inch, they take a hike.
Oh my god, that was
Episode
awesome,
300
Zach.
and Zach steals another joke.
That was
I didn't steal a joke. What are you talking about?
I said it first. You just couldn't hear it over Dean.
Oh, okay. I'll have
I'm
to check the
sorry.
tape on that one.
well, whoever said it, that's hilarious. But yeah, I think it's nice to be aware of what's happening and to voice your concerns respectfully, right? You don't have to fucking pop a blood vessel over $5, right? If $5 is gonna fucking kill you, probably shouldn't be collecting in the first place.
Just say my name, please. If you're talking about me, just mention me.
No, I'm just saying, like,
If one tiny crease on a box will ruin your day, then just kidding.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Maybe not the hobby for you.
But it's just nice to be aware of what's happening. So keep your eyes out. If you keep seeing some fishy shit, then it's time to get your pitchforks and torches out, because you don't want to start saying things when it's already too late.
Yeah,
It's kind of tough. You don't want to fucking lose your mind over nothing, and then it turns out to be just a fucking waste of time. But you also don't want to sit back with your hands on sitting on your hands, and then when shit finally gets out of hand, it's like it's already too late. So it's tough.
Yeah, so I did speak about this on a few different shows, and I think I've had some time to kind of narrow in on how I feel, right? Because I'm in that group that wasn't necessarily outraged, but I was really frustrated by this move. And so I think it's three compounding things. Number one, it's like Zach said, the communication or the lack thereof. They just kind of did this, and then the only comment that we've seen is from Steph here, bless their soul, on Facebook. And I haven't seen any emails, I haven't seen any videos, no other justifications beyond this really fluffy language that was shared in a group. And so it's like they changed it overnight, and this is really all we get. That feels insulting to folks that are there's a lot of loyal Sideshow customers out there that want to buy only from Sideshow because of their customer service. And this doesn't feel like it's living up to that, right? So you're just changing prices. And I would be fine if you said, moving forward, things are going to get more expensive. Here's the reason why. But to just change the prices on things that have been up to order for a while just feels a bit, it comes across as greedy. And whether, I know that there are other factors that play into this, but it comes across as greedy. And the reason I'm feeling that way is because during the pandemic, a lot of corporations, a lot of companies, and I'm not saying this applies to collectible companies or all collectible companies, a lot of folks had record profits, but still blamed inflation. So hey, prices are going up, but then when you look at their books, they're actually doing really well. So the buck gets passed to the consumer, and that pisses me off that they're able to just kind of wave a magic wand well, sorry, we can't pay our workers anymore. The consumer has to pay more, but here corporations and big bonuses are being given out to the heads, and that kind of stinks, right? So the buck is being passed. And then the last thing I will just say is Sideshow, they've got a reputation, whether good or bad. And there's kind of a bifurcation between their business side and their customer service, and then the way that they interact with the community and with other people that get their stock from them. And I remember the alter ego thing was kind of the big thing that opened my eyes, where alter ego was a place to go where you could get no shipping costs, no sales tax, and Sideshow went after them for undercutting them on price, right? And they ended up making alter ego have to charge shipping and have to charge sales tax, and that felt so petty to me. So it's kind of this ongoing, and there are other examples of them being petty. And so it's it's just not a good look for your company in a community like 1/6 Collecting that is, pretty a tight knit group. When you start like going after either community members or smaller shops that are getting their stock from you, that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So all of this together
100%.
makes me a bit outraged. And yes, it is only $5, and you can easily say like, it's only $5, you're overreacting. If you can't afford $5, don't be in this hobby. Any number of fucking excuses you could throw out there to make the argument try to be illegitimate, but I'm sorry, it feels gross to me. And whether that's what they indicated or that they knew was going to happen or not, it comes across as a gross move.
I will say, just to add on
Damn,
top of
just
that,
at me next time far.
I know, Marco, you
I
mentioned the
didn't say eat my
pandemic,
ass.
and obviously we don't know those numbers, but a lot of companies did report these record-breaking profits, while at the same time, underpaying employees and whatnot. But I mean, this is public information, but Sideshow did have a PPP loan forgiven for quite a bit of money as well. So it's like, because of that, was that why we're just seeing these price increases now? Because they didn't have to pay back $2.2 million, but it's a lot of things, and it kind of makes you wonder. But and I don't fault them for taking advantage of it. Like, almost every business that I know took advantage of it and had their loans forgiven.
Yeah, of course.
But like I said, it's just a weird thing, right? After the pandemic, to see, now that this information is made public, what companies are doing what and who got what forgiven. So,
You've mentioned a lot of times, Marco, control the message, and we even talked about that last week as feeling like out of 2023, that was something that a lot of people kind of started saying more for 1/6 scale companies. I get your frustration for it if the message wasn't very well controlled. It seems like a missed opportunity. Like I sell paint jobs. I estimate paint jobs and I sell paint jobs. And three times a year, Sherwin-Williams Paint will increase their price. Guaranteed, every year, like clockwork. We all know, as people who sell the paint job, that's going to happen. So one of the things that I do as a salesperson and like a director is that I reach out to my clients and say, hey, prices are going to go up 3 times a year, unquestionably. So if you're interested in this service today, buy it today. Because if tomorrow the price is higher, that's going to suck for you. And I root for you as somebody who wants to provide you the service. So if you're interested, here's your opportunity. I think that's where Sideshow missed the mark on this one. $5 is nothing. $5 is nothing. We've all said that. But controlling the message is something to people who spend so much money with these companies year over year over year over year. They need to bank on us choosing their service over all of the other distributors that exist now. They need to bank on that. And what's a better way to
sellers that they've been trying to combat for a while, right?
So what's a better way to do that than to give people some forecasting, right? Prices are going up. This is an opportunity to buy all the figures you want right now, $5 cheaper. Because if you do want 10 figures, that ends up being an additional however much money, math be mathin', then this is your chance to lock some pre-orders in now. If you don't care, or if $5 isn't the end of the world, then don't worry about it. No pressure, no FOMO. We're not trying to do all that. We just want to give you the heads up. I think that could have been a great way for Sideshow to actually sell more figures to the people who $5 would matter to. And for the people who don't care, like me, I just would have been like, oh, whatever, I don't need that figure anymore anyways, and $5 more is just another reason why I'm now not interested, for whatever silly reason that is. Because so many of us say, when we see some of these expensive prices on figures, like, oh, for $320, that's insane, but if it was $305, I'd consider it. And it's like, really? A $15 difference that's the whole difference for you buying this figure? Really? Like, I feel like a lot of the time price ends up being an excuse. If you want these figures, you've probably already pre-ordered them. If you don't, it shouldn't be a deal breaker. But I do think Sideshow could have got a win in their basket, at least.
Yeah, an easy
for giving
win,
people
too.
the heads up. It's an easy win. We're on your
Unforced
side.
error.
We don't want to charge you more money, but we have to. So here's your opportunity to buy some of these before the price increase. Price increase goes up at this date. Think about some figures if you're interested. Have a nice day. Boom.
Yeah.
Done. Easy.
Yeah.
One thing on this comment here, 160's Nut says, Target emails me personally to explain the economic reasons why they're changing the price of milk. Oh, wait. I think you have to realize that obviously Target and Sideshow are much different companies. Sideshow's obviously a much smaller company. They also have a much more intimate relationship with us as collectors. We're in groups with their employees. They post to YouTube. They do live shows. They interact with the fans. Target going so far as to explain inflation is one thing, but Sideshow, a group that has employees that all they do is communicate and be a part of the fandom, is completely different, I think, than Target.
And like Equan said, they email us at least twice a day.
Exactly.
Not one time did we see anything about this, and I think Ben put it really perfectly.
Yeah, and then DJ says, I agree, Marco, not to hate. No hate to Dean because he explained it so well, but there are some people out here degrading people for not being cool with it, and it comes off as elitist. And certainly, right, I think it's been harder to collect with the way the world is, and I feel like lately it feels like death by 1,000 cuts, right? It's $5 here, a few dollars here, a few dollars here, and it certainly does add up at the end of the day.
And I will say, like, Dean's argument... Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like we said the same thing. I was just saying, don't freak out about it like right now, but also be aware that it is happening, and
Yeah, Dean, I completely agree with you, and I don't think you came across as elitist at all. I think your point is spot on. Like, you keep an eye on it. Like, this could be a canary in the coal mine. But I have seen others kind of say, like, well, if $5, and it might be Eddie, might be one of those people that's like, if $5 is
now?
If $5 bothers you this much, then don't collect these things.
You guys missed Zach's joke.
Oh,
I'm the only one that catches it sometimes. He said he felt you being elitist. I see all sides. I think you guys all make great points. I see.
He's the watcher.
Whoever said the comment with the milk, I agree with your point too. Like, I don't feel that we need to be coddled, but also, I
like to be coddled.
That's another good point. Some collectors like to be coddled, and it's like.
But if milk's too high, though, don't you just go to Walmart? Don't you just go
milk
to
is
store?
not a good example because
How about
I hate.
eggs?
No one
I
drinks
hate
milk.
comparisons
Milk is a myth.
because it's like milk is almost a necessity.
It's not real.
So like, you can't compare those two things, but by all means compare. Like,
have you ever seen a Spider-Man Hot Toys? That's a necessity, bro.
That's right.
So I'm not arguing, or I'm not concerned with the fact that they're raising by $5. I understand there's almost a million different ways you can logically explain why they're doing that, but I'm more like flabbergasted that Sideshow, being such a big company, can't hire responsible, fucking competent employees that like can come up with good ideas to not do it this way and just do it in a way that we won't ever see it on social media, and we won't have to make it a fucking thing where people can comment about milk and make it a thing like that. Because if it was done right, it would have never fucking been a fucking issue that we had to fucking talk about.
You're right on, Eddie. Yeah, it's an unforced error. The way that they did it was so
I'm
just
submitting
lame.
my resume to Hot Toys. If you need to spell Wolverine, I got you, bro.
Also, this Steph guy is a cuck.
Wait, what?
There are people that they let comment on their fucking Facebook groups, like, just come out and say, "Hey, it went up $5. Fuck you, pay me." Like, that's it. That's what this message is, and it's like,
We don't know if this is a guy. This Steph very well may be Stephanie.
person.
So we don't know.
This person, and I wasn't hating on you. 160.
I know 1/6. Yeah, it was a snarky comment, but I just wanted to say, because I've seen that line repeated, not from you, but just in general, people saying like, "Oh, well, eggs went up and gas went up." I didn't get an email from Valero or Exxon, right? Like, 100%. Let's see here. Drawline says an extra $5 isn't the end of the world, but when you buy multiple figures a year, it may change what you can buy in a year. First world problems.
Totally.
Let's see here. So you guys wanted to also talk a little bit about delays, a little bit of a slowdown. Excuse me. The February, we have the Chinese New Year. It's the Year of the Dragon, which is really fantastic. One of my favorite Zodiac animals. What is y'all's favorite Zodiac animal?
Well, I'm Year of the Monkey, so.
Well, you're a little monkey, so. What about you,
That
Dean?
seemed racial.
You're on mute.
That did seem racial. Wow.
He has long arms.
What?
I'm Year of the Snake, but I love a good dragon.
What the fuck is that?
What about you, Marco?
What did you say?
I
Your
want
Year
to
of
say
the
that
what?
I'm rabbit, but I gotta go check.
No, your
I
favorite
don't know.
Zodiac year, not your year.
That's an animal?
Dragon for sure.
Focus.
Dragon for sure.
Jesus. What about you, Ben? God damn it, Ben.
I don't know, honestly. I was just looking at my spirit animal as well. I'm like, it says that I'm a
Spirit?
crab, but I'm
Spirit
a Gemini,
animal.
So.
He's like, it says I'm a Gemini. Ben, my favorite is the year of dragging my balls on your face.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I see.
So what do we got here?
That was good.
Eddie, I said snake like snake. But that's what
Oh,
I
I was like, what the?
Snack.
Everybody's just gonna fly by that one and not question. Like, what the fuck is that?
A slippery snake. So what do we got, Marco? You wanted to talk February slowdowns and stuff like that.
I think we covered a lot in the Toby announcement, right? But we're seeing a lot of announcement. So we don't know how the market's shifting.
Yeah.
I just want to preach patience as much as we can, because I do get impatient a lot of the time. Like, I want that Wolverine, I want that Batman yesterday. But I'm like, I've got a nice solid price locked in. When they come, they come. They've at least told us they're on the way. So that's right. So, I don't get as worked up, but I'm seeing a lot of folks like very, very worked up, which is, part of this hobby. We just talked about an Iron Man being a few inches too tall, or a few centimeters too tall. So, it comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, though, Marco. Like, I'm one of those people that felt annoyed by the delay email today because I was excited. It's an excitement thing. You just feel kind of let down. There's a lot of shit that happens in the world. We all have to get up every day and go to work for the most part, right? And so that one little piece of our excitement that we're looking forward to, that box coming in.
He doesn't even get up some days.
Jesus Christ. You're not wrong. Okay. Dean's like, I just rolled out of bed.
Bless.
I'm sorry, I'm catching up.
Hashtag how the other half lives.
But when when that's the one piece of your week that you are excited for, it does suck when know that it's like it might be some time between now and practically my birthday. Like, man, May is a long way away from January. It feels, anyways. And also, especially when things are paid off, right? Like, so for me, like, I paid off my Tobey Maguire purposely to have it ready to come to my collection in January, like they said it would. And now it could be as long as May. So they're holding what, $600 Canadian of my money because
Well, that's kind of on you, though. We're paying
sure.
it off early.
Sure, but I didn't pay it off early. I just paid it off on the schedule that they provided.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
but
Okay,
$600
my apologies.
Canadian is also like,
It's like
$7.
$520 Canadian American. It's still it's a chunk of point is that my money now lives with the Bank of Sideshow, not with myself. If something comes
not a
up,
good
I could get my money back, sure, but like I wanted that figure now. I didn't want it in May. But I get that whole thing that you're saying, that it is a bit of a pain in the ass. It's just that I think I wanted to mention delays because Toby's not the only one that I've seen now delayed on that screenshot that we saw of all of the collectibles put together. There's a couple of figures on there that they said are coming soon that now suddenly are delayed. And it just seems to me like they wanted to make sure these figures are being paid off on their side while also they're taking their time to get it in actual collectors' hands, which I think is shitty. So.
And there could be a correlation with the $5 thing, and now we're seeing longer lead times for them to get here.
The
we
new
don't
year for
know-
them is coming
we're
up.
Yeah, so.
but it's
we don't
also
know
not
all of the
Sideshow's
minutia.
fault, right?
I don't know. I
We
don't.
would assume it isn't.
Whose fault is it though? Is Sideshow is the one that told me the estimated delivery date, right? So at the end of the day, they could still adjust their time, sure, but like I blame Sideshow because that's where I chose to buy it from based on their deliverable.
Right. But if Hot Toys isn't sending Sideshow their products when they said they were going, that's not Sideshow's fault either. It's Hot Toys.
To be fair, there's been
world.
plenty of instances where when a figure's announced and you compare the Sideshow estimation versus the Hot Toys estimation on their official website, they are different. They're not often the same.
Well, and I've talked about that with Exo-6, right? Like, so Star Trek collectors out there, if
had
you
to bring
want
it up.
if you want an Exo-6 figure, buy it from Exo-6 because they'll actually get it to you. If you buy it from Sideshow, wait 6 to 8 months longer. Literally wait 6 to 8 months longer than any figure release from that website. It's insane.
That's wild.
But yeah.
No, and I get it, Ben. Like, you want Toby to come in the collection room like he's an 85-year-old woman, but just
Jesus Christ!
I thought that's where he was going with it. And I'm glad he did because that was awesome.
But the other thing is, it's
I'm
just
so
like
glad
anything.
Dean's here today.
It's like anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, it even makes me delay my money that I spent because I'm thinking like I kind of want. I've purchased the Goblin. We all love Goblin. I've purchased the Goblin.
You definitely
I've
love
refunded
Goblin.
my money on the Goblin, and now I'm
Goblin, he's
considering buying the
nuts.
Goblin again. But I was considering buying it to pair with Toby. But if Toby's not going to come for 6 more months, then I don't feel that urgent to get a Goblin in the collection. So even that, they're shifting timelines changes my amount of dollars that I want to spend with them, which seems like a bad move for a business, not necessarily just for the collectors.
It's true. And now we're giving them $5 extra, so get those bad boys on a plane. Get them over
No
here
doubt.
for spending that much.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Episode 300. Wow. That's crazy.
You definitely should have fit
crazy.
boobs in there somewhere. Could have easily done so.
That is crazy. What do we have to say about this, Dean? It's crazy. I remember. Well, tell me what you have to say about this, Dean.
Oh, man, it's been a wild ride, man. You kind of just had this little goofy idea of
Okay.
talking people through 6-scale collecting, and I think mostly because I had so many fucking questions for you, and then we all started kind of hanging out at the same time, like with Rainer and Manny, and we all had these questions, and you were like the only guy in town who really knew what the fuck was going on with
Still
like
am.
kit bashing and where to buy it and who makes what. I didn't know what the difference between Sideshow and Hot Toys was, and third party, and you know, it's when you get into the nitty gritty of 6-scale collecting, it's a pretty big world.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm just gonna make a little podcast and talk about, you know, stuff like that. And it's kind of just turned into this whole, our own little community niche corner of the internet. And it's cool, man. Like getting
Yeah.
to sit here every week and talk to these guys and hang out with these guys. Now lifelong friends. I didn't know who the fuck any of these guys were in, what, 4 years ago? How long have we been doing this? 5
A
years?
very long time.
He still doesn't know what my real last name
Like
is.
6 years.
I know what it is.
2017.
I won't
definitely
say it
not
on here
Thomas.
because I don't know if it's secret or not.
So I
It is
remember. So, episode 1 of this show is actually not episode 1 of CW. I had started it and ended it twice, and in the beginning I didn't take it seriously. Not that I take it like seriously now, but it was one of those things that Dean and I would get together, and you know, some weeks he'd be pushing like, "Come on, we got to like do it. Like, let's just record a quick one," and no one was watching, so it was like, "Yeah, we're recording it for like 3 people. Like, we have 3 views on this episode." And after a while, you know, we got consistent to the point where sometimes I would push him like, "Come on, like we got to do it," and then we would kind of go back and forth. And you know, we've been very fortunate. We've had some wonderful people that have worked with us on this. You know, like you said, Banny and Rainer, some of the first, Seth, Jesse,
Jesse.
you know, Ian and Pete from I think like as far back as our first dozen episodes. Right, we're listening, Dylan as well, and Damien, and it's so neat to like. It was fun to do in the
John, the
beginning
angry
because
Canadian.
there was no pressure, right? You know, if we did or didn't do an episode, or if we said something stupid or whatever, it's more fun now to have people that actually watch and you know comment and call us out if we say something, or
Yeah.
it adds like a real element to it. And it's funny because initially we never did them live, probably for about the first like 15, I think. And it was always Jesse's goal for us to do a live show. He's like, dude, that would be so cool if we had people watching and they could like comment in real time. And we weren't really sure how to make that work. And I always remember, you know, those first few, right? Like, again, no one's watching, you know, we're just really doing this for ourselves at this point. We had one person watching the whole time, and it was Dean, just making sure the feed didn't go down. And if you look at some of those old episodes, which I think it starts around like 25 on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you want to watch like the early episodes, you have to go all the way back to SoundCloud and scroll all the way down. But you can see the evolution. Like, I think the heart of the program was still there, but it was a much simpler time. Like, we had one mic and one computer and one cord, and now it's like there's just so much equipment and filing taxes and all these fun things that we get to do. And it's nice. Like, when we did that video on Sunday or Saturday, gosh, the community feedback was, I felt really motivated. And sometimes I think I struggle with it. You know, there's been a lot of times that I've wanted to quit. And, you know, I'm fortunate to have this support panel here to help me. And I think that's the biggest thing is we couldn't do this without the people watching. We couldn't do this without the people on this panel or the people that are in the network. And yeah, it really is fun. It's I think one of the things I look forward to the most is coming on here and putting together this little show. And a lot of people might say it's not real content, but we do take it seriously, right? Like the show notes take all week. Verifying the information, getting our research, being able to make our points. All that stuff does take some amount of creativity and talent.
Not that it's not real content, but that it requires zero skill or zero talent is what I've heard as well. So.
I see.
Oh, wow.
I see.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's such a blessing for us to be here still, and to have people that are watching. And I can't tell you how fun that is, because a lot of times, like, we always kind of joke, like we walk so that like collectors like Marco and Ben and Eddie can run, because like, boy, in the beginning it was fucking no one doing this, and there was no one watching this type of stuff. And yeah, it's really, really great to have all you guys here. And yeah, it means a lot to be able to celebrate this milestone with you guys.
For sure. Do you mind if I jump in, Dean? So
Yeah, go ahead.
it's interesting. So I think I've been with you guys since episode 200, maybe just before, because I remember celebrating 200 with you, which was exciting in itself. I think one of the crazy things that I've taken away, even from my Let's Get Nuts Sunday show, is like how much time is invested in these shows. On the backside here, like we have a group Facebook chat weekly where, as news progressively gets released, we make sure that those slides are added. We make sure our info is added. We make sure the prices are right as much as we can. We try to do the homework, as we often kind of joke about, to make sure that it's a good show. But it takes all week to build the show. And then usually for me on Let's Get Nuts, I don't know about Zach, for me, putting the slides together even usually takes me about 2 hours. So for me on a Let's Get Nuts show, that's about a 5-hour a week investment. When I think about 300 episodes of Let's Get Nuts, I'm only on episode 30 going into next week. 30 episodes, not 300. Like, the amount of time invested is a lot. The other crazy part is that, I remember when I first started streaming with you guys felt like celebrities to me. Like, I didn't know you guys. I felt like you guys were my collecting weekly celebrities. And Marco gave me a shot to be on his show with Gigi. And I remember saying to Marco, like, yo, can you maybe introduce me to Zach? Like, I'd love to come on with you guys maybe at some point. And he was like, oh yeah, like maybe, I'm cool, Marco. Like, oh, maybe, we'll see how it goes. See how you do on my show first. Maybe buy a microphone, maybe comb your beard, do some things. And then we'll see how it goes. But point is that you guys were super inclusive. My channel's, I think 250 subs away from 3,000 itself. And I would not have been able to platform myself the way that I did without collecting weekly. But also the friendship is immeasurable. I would give it all away if it meant that I got another day with you guys as friends and the community. We don't just say that. This is the thing that I actually look forward to every week. So yeah, there's some time investment, but it's worth it when we have you guys in the chat watching the show and having fun with us, laughing along with us, getting our inside jokes. We have so many freaking inside jokes now. It's ridiculous, right? And 300 episodes of the show. I've only been able to be 100 episodes of those. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I can't wait to see you guys hit 1,000 episodes one day. And I love you guys, and I love the chat. Thanks for watching. That's my piece.
Damn.
There you go.
Well said,
Real
man.
quick, let me get to this. So Charlie asked show notes. So we don't really ever share this, but this is a pretty light show sheet. But that's not gonna look that good. Let's try it here. Does that look better? No, it still looks weird. Hang on. Let me. So typically we kind of compile all the information for the show onto a Google Doc that we all have, and we can, kind of understand the order that we want to talk about things, and we sometimes put notes in here of things that we need to mention. Or so that's that. And as far as who runs the show, I typically run the slides and stuff, but obviously it's a group effort to keep it going.
No, you're the showrunner, though. You're the producer and director all at the same time. For sure.
One thing I think I do want to say as well is, there's a lot of people that make content, and we always see, for better or for worse, there's a lot of people that will make content and then they'll separate and go their separate ways, and we're not immune to that, certainly. But I think one of our biggest strengths that Dean and I have that has allowed us to make it to this point is I think that we started off as friends first, and I think we're both willing to take difficult criticism from each other. There's been times where, Dean has done something that I didn't like that we have to talk about, and it's, it can be uncomfortable, but, we'll get into a shouting match, but after 5 minutes we're cool. Or, there was a time where I was being a complete dickhead on air and Dean had to set me aside and be like, bro, that can never happen again. And, so I think, again, I couldn't think of a better person to go on this journey with than Dean. And, I think you got a little bit of that in that video that we posted the other day. But Marco, Eddie, do you guys have anything you want to say on this big milestone?
I just want to say congratulations. Like, this is a massive milestone. Cool little behind the scenes thing is after, Ben came on my show, I was telling Zach, I was like, hey, this guy, Ben Thomas, is actually pretty cool. And I don't know that you necessarily trusted me like you do now, which you shouldn't trust me, but you're like, okay, sounds good. And we didn't really pick up on the topic for a little bit afterwards. But it's cool to, see all these folks that you've spun off from your show. And it reminds me, it's not like one-to-one, but I'm a big podcast guy. I listen to Podcast Beyond that was on IGN, right? So a huge platform talking about video games. But since, the guys who used to host the show, a lot of them have left. Actually, all of them have left, kind of started different podcasts. And you kind of see these tendrils sprout out from something, which is definitely the effect you've had. But I think the Collecting Weekly name, even if you and Zach don't do it for you and Dean don't do it for the next 30 years, and I hope you do, I think it's something that's going to endure. Like, I think there's always going to be Collecting Weekly, because I think you've built like a really cool brand here, and you've got an awesome following, and regardless of, who the guest panelists are or even the hosts, it's never going to be the same without you guys, but you've really created something here. So congratulations, and hope many, many more shows.
I've said a bunch of times, how cool would it be to still be doing this when we're like 70? Like we jump on, we're all fucking old as hell. I've been streaming with Dean for 60 years, or like 50 years. I can't do math today because I'm drinking too much beer.
I remember when we were shit about a Hot Toys Iron
We're
Man
all
3.0.
We're definitely all little blue
raised it
holograms
another
at that
$5.
point. Yeah, we're definitely all little blue holograms at that point, but still gonna be cool.
It's the Iron Man Mark III 15.0.
Jesus Christ.
But so yeah, that would be amazing, right? If all of us were doing this until we were 70, incredible. But you look at the introduction video, and you see all the folks that have done it and have contributed to building up the CW brand, and you really start to see like you're part of something larger that's just beyond yourself, and it's pretty cool to think.
Yeah, we've had many people come and go, and there's been people that have
Eddie
Mario's
a
in
few
the chat.
times.
Yeah, Eddie came and
I was
gone a
gonna
few times.
say-
Yeah,
I was gonna say, how many times can I quit by the time I'm 70?
He's
There
the
you go.
boomerang.
Eddie's on his 15th return to CW.
Actually, Eddie, it was you quitting last time that got me the seat, I think, because you were like I'm not gonna come every Tuesday, and I was like, I'll sign up for Eddie's seat if he doesn't want it. And now Eddie's back.
And then, full circle, he got John to quit, and I came back.
We love John. John has been a huge part. I'm going to shake my finger. John has been a huge part of CW.
We all need an angry Canadian on our life.
Yeah,
okay?
shout out John.
John's done well. His show's doing well.
Yeah, he is. He's crushing it.
He always sends me really nice messages.
Gigi, yeah, John's a sweetheart. I love John. Gigi says, Marco, I say this in the best possible way. I hate this view. We'll discuss. We all looked at him when he came in. It looks like he's sending a ransom video to Gotham Central.
Looks like he's trying to sweat.
And if Batman doesn't show his face,
It's a trash bag suit.
And sorry, and back to John. Only one thing. He actually did send me a really nice Happy New Year's message the other day before I
He's a
heard from
lovely
any of you
person.
What the
fuckers. So I'm
fuck?
just saying.
I barely made it to 2024, Ben.
So, I started streaming with you guys in 2020, right? And I
the
was vocal
pandemic.
about this. Yeah, I was vocal about this. Zach and Dean helped me get through the pandemic. I hated that year, so that was good. It was an awesome thing finding the channel. And back then it was the Scavengers, and maybe PJ did his own thing at that time, and you had Optical and all those guys, and then obviously there were statue guys doing it too, but I mean in 1/6 it was Scavengers, and then maybe PJ did his own show at that time. I don't remember. And then you had Rogue One and all that. And then now it's like there's so many channels, dude. There's so many streaming channels, and I think all of those have been helped or owe something to CW or Zach or Dean or whoever. And yes, and I've argued with Zach a lot, and not so much Dean,
A lot.
but I've argued with Zach a lot,
If you see these grays, at least half of them are Eddie.
dude. And I feel like there was a couple bad times, but I came back because this is where I started, and this is family, and like I feel like a lot of people owe their allegiance to CW, and like it went to spawn off some like you guys say, like me and John have our differences. We used to be good friends at one point, but now there's a whole statue community with John that came from this, and there's there's like a whole bunch of streamers now that came from this and like do this kind of style of streaming and do the news, and like whether people like to admit it or not, a lot of it came from this. So
Yeah.
it's a big milestone, and I love you guys, and
Love you, Mario.
even if I quit, I'll come back. And I said back in 2020 I'll stream. I remember saying live, like, as long as you guys are around, I'll be here. So even if I quit,
Yeah.
I'll probably come back. And plus, like, going back in history,
Always a
all the
seat for
best
Eddie.
bands break up. So
Yeah. That's fair.
Basically, we're the Beatles.
So Mario says, CW gave me my start. I'll always be grateful. We always love Mario. And let's see here. PT Works says, I tuned in all the time during the COVID time in Australia. We had a strict lockdown for almost a year, and CW made those times great. Yeah. And with the pandemic ending, we got our butts kicked in the audio numbers. So if you guys are listening, listen to the audio too, because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest episodes, the worst day of my life, August 1st, my son was born and passed away shortly after he was born. And I remember being surrounded by so much love from you guys. And it was nice to know that, one, there were those men that we could be vulnerable with and talk about those difficult things. And two, that if I ever needed to take a step back, that the show was in good hands. You guys did an amazing show. The listeners loved it. And then on After Dark, you guys did an amazing After Dark. And it really meant a lot to me that day that, I didn't have to worry about that stuff, that I could focus on, the more important things. And so, yeah, that was one of the, I won't say the coolest episodes, but it meant a lot to me that you guys did that, and to me that'll always be one of my favorite episodes that you guys put together. So, and I think I just even barely done any work on this. Like, you guys had really done it all that day, so it made me really happy that there might even be a future at some point if we decide to take a step back. So, King Ding says, I found your shirt during the pandemic. Zach was unboxing his new mechanical keyboard. Yeah, there you go. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. Zach got really into keyboards for a while.
I got like 5 of them, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying.
Fuck you. Yeah. So if you're a Patreon, you'll be getting a special sticker. I got to send them out this week.
That
Sticker
sticker
goes
is
forward.
so cool. You didn't give me one.
Oh, you didn't ask. I'm sorry. Here we go. I forgot.
I
I'm sorry.
forgot.
I didn't even show you my rifle.
I know, dude. I was halfway home. I was like, wait a minute.
Look at this.
That
sticker
is
here.
such a crispy fucking sticker.
Zach, I gotta ask, why are your glasses all fucked up like this? What's going on here?
I don't know what the fuck is happening. Well, 'cause I keep rubbing my eyes. I got fucking
hit by
pollen.
the
I look like
school
the
building.
fucking nutty professor right now.
The nutty professor.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've been rubbing my eyes all day. Dean says I has pink eye, but
I've been rubbing my shit all day too.
rubbing my fucking balls all day. Mario says, y'all ever do your homework? Here's our first ever meme. Here we go.
Do your homework.
I almost deleted that the other day, but I was like, nah, that's a deep dive right there.
that
Yeah,
needs to
Would
stay.
you ever?
That needs to stay.
Dude, memes and stickers, dude, are.
I haven't seen the emotional damage in a while.
It's like
Or the Adidas.
It's like time
I think I
capsules.
deleted the Adidas one. Oh no, I have it here. Here we go.
Who the fuck threw that motherfucking busted ass goddamn Adidas?
Emotional, damn it!
Here we go. Draw the line says, I appreciate that you don't take yourself so seriously. That's what sets your show apart. You love just tearing into one another. Dude, we fucking go really hard. I was listening to some of our old shows to get the, like just a little montage just for the opening video. And I was like, God damn,
Bro,
we were brutal.
Dude, I have a whole channel membership dedicated to Tough Nut to Swallow. I've got little Tough Nuts like crazy, all because of you guys ripping into me for mixing up my words
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
live stream.
Yeah.
That'll last forever.
I think he almost said a racial slur right there, but
Yeah.
I heard mix and then he stopped himself.
Every once in a while, my mom will be like, "You and Zach are so mean to each other." I'm like, "You have no fucking idea."
Dean will be my 13th
pretty-
reason one day.
Pretty spicy.
Yeah. OG Fan says, my favorite CW episode ever was an After Dark where Mark was drunker than a monkey trying to get some ass for his birthday.
Yeah, that was the
man.
Skippy stream.
Skippy stream. That's a legendary.
Oh, dude. Yes, that was so funny. We're talking
Didn't
about
he
the
show his
girl in
ass?
the basement.
He showed
Yeah,
his
he showed
ass.
his ass too. Anyway, so let's move on. We'll wrap this one up so we don't keep everyone here all night. Our movie of the week, as chosen by the listeners, was Shrek. Once upon a time, in a faraway swamp, there lived an ogre named Shrek, whose precious solitude is suddenly shattered by an invasion of annoying fairy tale characters. They were all banished from their kingdom by the evil Lord Farquaad. Determined to save their home, not to mention his, Shrek cuts a deal with Farquaad and sets out to rescue Princess Fiona to be Farquaad's bride. Rescuing the princess may be small compared to her deep, dark secret. I have not seen this movie in so fucking long, and holy Jesus, it holds up really well. The animation, it's definitely stylized, but the animation is beautiful. Eddie Murphy is so fucking hilarious in this film. Like, it's like nonstop how fucking funny Donkey is. Mike Myers obviously great as well. Really lovely plot. Some absolute hilarious scenes. Some really deep scenes. The Hallelujah song, which I don't know if it was recorded just for this movie, but I remember even as a kid, like, damn, this is like a beautiful scene. Yeah, this is a great movie. Obviously spawned the Shrek cinematic universe. So yeah, this was a good choice. I remember last week when the listeners picked this one, I was thinking like, kind of a silly movie, but fucking movie goes hard, bro. I was dying laughing at this fucking movie. The fucking dragon, and the donkey has the babies with the dragons. This movie has it all, man. This is a great film. Although maybe I missed it. I don't remember why. I mean, obviously I watched it today, but did they ever explain why Farquaad was like rallying up all the mythical creatures, where he was trying to cleanse the kingdom? I didn't quite understand that point. And then like he just moves them all out of the swamp when he gets Fiona. Anyone catch that?
You thought very deeply about this. I have not.
I don't remember.
Well, it was like
remember
he made it a
that,
point
yeah.
in the
I
beginning
missed
to
it,
like be purchasing them, and then he dropped them off in the swamp, and then I thought, it's been a long time since this movie, I thought he was gonna like betray him when I was watching it, and then they're all gone, and it's just like unexplained where they went. Anyways, what do you think about it, Dean?
It says here he believed the fairy tale creatures were, in his words, fairy tale trash, poisoning my perfect world. He had a vision for no fairy tale
see.
creatures in his kingdom.
Thank you for
So a
that.
little racist, but whatever.
Yeah.
Genocide
Yeah,
for
this
sure.
movie is absolutely incredible. It's really fun because I just watched The Last Wish, which is the Puss in Boots' newest movie.
Such a good movie.
That movie's fucking awesome.
So good. In fact, I'm thinking about switching my movie of the week to that.
No, we've
already
watched
seen
it
that
recently.
one.
We did
That was
it.
a
Oh,
couple-
did we?
that
It
was
was like
a couple months
20
ago.
episodes ago. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Shit. Okay. Well, I'll stick to mine then.
Feel free. I don't really want to watch it.
So going back and watching this,
Shrek 2.
like you said, Zach, like it's almost like sometimes when you watch a movie as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, that was good, and then you go back and watch it as an adult, you're like, that was not as good as I remember it being. But this was like arguably better than the first time.
You're getting
like
more of the
watching it as a
jokes now?
kid.
Bro, there
Yeah, a
are
little
so
bit more
many
of the jokes.
adult jokes that are just like crammed in.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
it's so fucking good.
He gets a boner on the bed.
Did he? So when he's laying in bed, and he asks the mirror to show him Fiona, was he about to jerk off?
No, yeah. I'm pretty sure he was because he gets a boner. Like,
Yeah,
you
and then he
see-
goes like, oh. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like 98% sure that's exactly what's happening. But dear God, this movie is. This might be one of the greatest animated films of all time ever.
It's so
like,
fucking good.
It's like Toy Story and then this. Like, I don't know what is better than Shrek. It's so good. John Lithgow as Lord Farquaad is so good. As much as like you hate that character, he is arguably the best part of the movie. Like, he's so good. Like, he's such a dick. He's so out of touch. And just like his delivery of all his lines is so funny. And John Lithgow is such a great actor. He's so good in this movie.
He does hold his end of the bargain, though. He actually does clear the swamp, which is surprising.
Mike Myers, of course, amazing. Cameron Diaz. But yeah, Eddie Murphy definitely shines in this movie. Donkey is so fucking cute, dude. I love Donkey. Also, the scene where he goes, where Shrek and Donkey go to rescue Princess Fiona, and he's like in the helmet and the sword and the armor.
Burn.
It's like, I want a fucking Shrek figure. Who do I got to talk to get one of those? Like this movie, like you said, the Shrek cinematic universe, and there's like not a lot of merch for it. It's kind of crazy. But
Dude, I want a Puss in Boots figure.
Dude, Puss in Boots is such a. He's so.
I remember as
awesome.
a kid, we used to quote this movie all the time. I mentioned it in our Tuesday Boys chat, but like the whole we're staying up late watching the stars in the morning. I'm making waffles. I remember we always used to say that as kids.
And the Muffin Man. Everybody's saying it in the comments.
Oh, dude, the Muffin Man.
The Muffin
So
Man.
we were supposed to do 300 as a movie of the week, but we totally forgot that happened, and the listeners didn't vote for it. So yeah, they wanted Shrek.
It does seem like a missed
That's
opportunity.
the drop buttons.
Okay, Ben, when you get your 300th episode, no, I'm not. Gonna let you forget.
I'm only at 30. Okay, we got a long way to go.
Man, I've heard about Ben's show more than I have CW today. But
I know. Jesus
sorry,
Christ.
Dean, were you still going?
Anyway, yeah, fantastic movie. Go ahead.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
No, I want to say, I completely agree with you that it still holds up. Like, I saw this film so many times as a kid. It reminded me and unlocked a core memory. We thought we were the coolest kids ever. My dad, he had a Suburban, and we had a TV. It was like a TV with a built-in VHS player
Hell,
that you could
bro.
strap to the seats. And so on road trips, we would watch Shrek over and over. I think that we only watched Shrek. I think it was permanently stuck in there. And I think one time my sister got motion sick and ended up yakking watching Shrek. And I told her she had a SpongeBob toy, and I made her clean it up with her SpongeBob toy. She wasn't happy, but I was like, "He's a sponge. You got to do
That's
it."
fucking disgusting.
So,
Marco.
she still holds it against me to this day. She's like,
Jeez.
"Hey, baby." But anyways, all that being said, yeah, all-time classic. Like you said, the waffles. It's going to be forever. Something that I quote, and Muffin Man as well. Can I say something about Princess Fiona at the end without y'all getting mad though? No, totally joking. But Princess Fiona was still hot when she transforms into the Shrek. I have to say, or to the
She got a
ogre.
little
Hotter.
thickness.
She's hotter, bro.
She got a little thicker. I'm
Eddie's a
just
thigh
saying.
man.
That's right. I'm a booty leg and thigh man to my core. If you don't have those, you have insulted me. If you approach me. Anyways, I'm rambling now. Still a great film. Still worth watching if you've never seen, or if you haven't seen it in a long time.
So hot take: Shrek 2 is better than Shrek 1. I like this movie.
Wow.
Bro,
And it
I
is
don't know if I've
good.
ever seen Shrek 2.
And it is classic.
You're right. I think.
But
Ben,
the
you're right.
I don't
soundtrack
know
is
if
better.
I've seen
The
Shrek
story is better. The jokes, in my opinion, are better. They hit harder. I think Shrek 2 is a better movie. But this is still the classic. It is the one that got the Shrek cinematic universe started, like Zach said. I have heard that they've got a Shrek 5 in talks at this point. So that would be cool to see them continue on. The animation for the age of the film is definitely still really, really strong. And yeah, quotable lines, do you know the Muffin Man? I know, like you said, Eddie, that's been thrown around in the chat a bunch. that one stuck with me. I would love a Muffin Man, little 6 scale in the collection somewhere. I think that'd
Just
be
make a
freaking
Muffin Man, man.
hilarious, dude. You make some Muffin Man a CW merch or something. I'd be down for that. So this is a great movie, though. I think the message is also pretty strong. Just looks aren't everything. It's about the love inside, and I always loved that message. I think one of the chatters mentioned it, but also like onions have layers, and like that was something that got to me because in the film that's exactly how it goes. Like just because you might be hideous on the outside like me, it doesn't mean you don't have a big heart on the inside and are capable of all the love, if not being the best out there.
Cock in the pants.
You don't get to say that.
For
You're
sure.
Good looking,
So-
you motherfucker.
It's
Well,
good
we'll
looking.
see.
It's got a fucking magnet. Okay, man. You got layers, man.
Layers. But no, Shrek 2 is better. So if you're going to spend your time watching a Shrek movie, I think you could almost skip to Shrek 2 and have just as much fun.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh,
I think
I
you could have
agree
just
that
as much
it's better, but I don't know if I'd. Skip
fun. I think
this
you
one,
could
man.
skip to it.
Take
I
it
think you
easy,
could skip.
man. Whoa. Then they wouldn't know how there was little baby donkey
Don't worry
dragons
about
flying
it.
around if they
Don't worry about
skipped
it.
this
Just
one.
watch a 15-minute review of Eddie talking about it and move on.
Wow. Jeez. I haven't even started talking yet. You don't know how long it'll
He'll
be.
make good points.
Wow. No, I was.
wow.
The soundtrack is great. Even the end when he's like when Donkey is singing the song. The soundtrack's really fucking good, man. It's a
Dude,
good.
this soundtrack's a fucking banger, bro. From the very first scene. It's just
Yeah.
like, Jesus.
Shrek 2 is better.
Jeez, this guy.
Well, pick it for your movie of the week,
throat,
man.
man. Shrek 2
Jesus.
wouldn't exist without Shrek 1.
Sorry, I was choking on beer.
He's dying over there.
Sounds like a tough nut is stuck in there. I love Shrek, so I was happy to see that this was picked. I was like, oh hell yeah! And then Dean slowly killed me with Rebel Moon. So after that, I was like, God, no.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. man.
But
3
Okay,
hour
good
rebel.
discussion.
great pick, great pick. I love, dude. One thing I didn't realize, this came out when I was 9. I could have swore I saw this
God
like later in
damn.
life, like at 13 or something. But yeah, dude, this came out when I was 9. I was like, dude, I was young when I watched this. So I definitely miss a lot of those.
Bro, the
boner
one that
joke.
I laughed out loud was the that must be Lord Farquaad's castle. Do you think he's maybe compensating for something? Totally went over my head as a kid.
And when
Totally.
I like when they're making fun of him, and they're like, he's in short stature and he's a short supply and all that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
Badfish, I'm going to give
And-
you credit for that. And Jose says he agrees about Shrek too.
One of my favorite quotes, and I literally quoted this like twice in this last month, is when they're talking about layers, and he's like, and Donkey is like talking about parfait, and he's like, you ever ask anybody if they like parfait? You never heard anybody say like, hell no, I don't like no parfait. I love that fucking scene, dude.
Wow.
That is funny, dude. And you get classic Eddie Murphy. He even does his stupid laugh like twice. You could hear him, it's Eddie Murphy. It's good, man. This is a good movie.
Yeah. So we don't do polls for movie of the week outside of every cycle. So the end of the cycle was the listener pick, and then we rotate through the 5 of us, and then there's another listener pick. So yeah, we can we can certainly see if Shrek 2 will win the next movie of the week pick. Our movies coming up, though, we have the Clone Wars animated series, the original. I picked this for Arc Fordo. Love that guy. And he had said, like, yeah, it'd be really cool if we could watch that. So if you guys would entertain me to watch part 1 and part 2, I think it's 2 hours total. I would be happy even if you just watch part 1. But yeah, that's my pick for episode 301. And for episode 302, we're doing Rebel Moon as chosen by Dean the Dream Martin. So these are our next 2 picks. And we'll
Sam
have...
Gist did reach out to me and said, for the love of God, Ben, do yourself a favor and watch The Crow, because he heard me say a couple weeks ago or last week that I have not watched it. So I have not still seen it yet, but that should also be a consideration at some point. Maybe the listeners, if
Well,
they
you could
vote
also
that
pick
one
it
in.
on your pick.
Well, no, because I'm gonna pick the creator. I like
I don't
the
want to
creator.
waste my pick.
He's like, I don't want to waste my pick on a bird.
Making the listeners do your dirty work.
I don't think it's about a bird, but we'll go from there.
That movie cost Brandon Lee his life, bro. I don't know why.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it should have been 300. Yeah, we're not that clever though. I thought about that when I was putting the show together. I was like, damn, why didn't we do this?
I'd pick it for mine, but the movie's not called 302. So
Anyways, Dean, let's say thank you to the Patreonies, please.
Yeah, I'll give a quick shout out to Ian CB, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Giss, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns, Figs, Billy Badfish, Toy Cartel, Sweet, Danny Lee, Deanie Martins, Stephen Krett, Big Old Fern, Cesar Marquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, the illustrious Rainer, Alan Morgan, Tukathri Wa, Derek B, Arias Portillo, Alvin J, Arelis Delgado, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Dalmaton, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. What a bunch of angels.
There you go. We have 2 stickers coming out this week, the Just Another Friday Night sticker and the CW300 sticker. Very excited to get these out the door. And we're also going to throw in some O's All the Wise stickers. I think because we really are trying to plug D&D, we might just make these everyone sticker because we got some really exciting stuff to talk about here in a few moments. Patreon starts at $5 for the digital tier. You get stickers sent straight to your door for $7.50 a month, sent bi-monthly. Certified Crispy is Figure Fix Assistance, and the What a Guy is the Pog Deluxe set and doubles of all the stickers we send. One for you, one for a friend. We have YouTube channel memberships as well. And we want to thank Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Andrew Gibo, Benjamin Hansen, Big O Fern, Bob Dylan, CC3PO, Chris V, CT603, DJ, Daminator, Doc Smizzle, Equan, Fat Batman, Gare Bear, Good Old Spotchka, Gotham Cenobites, Justin Sports Cards, LV Avenger 702, Mark Pearson, Mike Litteris, Money Mendez, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, 16 Figure Focus, Paul Schreiber, Philip the Fool, S Beam, Sam Gist, Scarn Lords, SpongeBob SquareBall, Sunnyvale Russ, Ben Thomas, and Toy Mafia for supporting the network in this way. It starts for 99 cents if you're a Patreon member. If you do not have a Patreon membership, it's $2.99. You get loyalty badges, and custom chat emojis and weekly shoutouts. We also have TeePublic if you want. I believe they're on sale right now. You can get some of the art that's done by Dean, including Prince Zorbo. You get the CW Philo shirt, the El Padre shirt, the Ox PD shirts, some of our other shirts, and there's a ton on there. So go ahead and check it out and help support us that way as well. We do have a big announcement. So last Tuesday we said that we weren't sure what the future of Dungeons and Dragons on Collecting Weekly would hold due to some circumstances outside of our control. Everything's gone, and it really sucks, and we're really disappointed. But the listeners, in their infinite tenacity, have this wonderful idea for us to play Baldur's Gate as a way to continue the D&D content, and so Ox Plays Live and Let Dice will be streaming soon. I think the first episode or so may be not live, just in case we have any tech issues, but once we get it figured out, we'll start doing those live so you guys can help us decide on some dialogue stuff and just a way for you guys to participate live as we play. And so our new network slide looks like this at the moment. We have live unboxings on Mondays, Question of the Weeks on Sundays, Ox Plays, which will be Baldur's Gate, along with Ox PD as we can, Small Talk, CW Live, OFAC, After Dark. We will still try to play traditional Dungeons and Dragons on Roll20. Like I mentioned, all of our stuff has been erased, unfortunately. So we're going to have to rebuild that and work on finding a new Dungeon Master. So we may have someone coming in for February so we can play a one-shot. I would say it will likely be more of like small one-episode adventures rather than a big story, just to keep it easy, as we may have frequent different DMs coming in and out as we do this. So just bear with us on that program. It will take us a little bit to kind of recover from the ashes. And then Bricks and Brews, which will be our monthly Lego show where we build Legos and drink alcohol. So big shout out to everyone that tuned in tonight. The chat was incredible. At one point, I think we had almost 100 people in here, and we appreciate you guys staying a little long with us tonight. I think with the magnitude of the episode, I think we ran just a little long tonight, so we appreciate you guys sticking in there with us.
Or magnitude, like Ben would say.
I've
True
never
words
said
never
such
spoken.
a thing. I'm pretty sure you guys just rag on me for that.
Do we have any shout outs that we want to give?
Shout out to all the pair.
Shout out to all the pairs. Shout out to Badfish. Shout out to Deanie. Shout out to Dean. Again, we kind of got a little bamboozled with everything getting erased, but the show must go on, and we'll rebuild it better than ever, and be back to playing D&D both on Baldur's Gate and as we had been for the past 3 years. So we'll get past it. Shit happens, and like Mark said, what did he say? Damn it! I had the quote in my head. I totally forgot. 1 second.
You always have those beautiful Ozol quotes.
I know. I need to get some Chat GBT going.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to.
From the ashes a fire shall be woken. That's what Mark said.
Wow.
The riddle of Strider.
To the people we kind of named earlier in the show, like Seth and Jesse, and John and Mario and Eddie, Ben, Marco,
Ian Peach.
Dylan, Damien, just people that have helped
Brenton.
us get.
Maybe Rainer.
Badfish. Rain.
Lane,
Yeah.
Classy
Manny the
Thomas.
Man Gonzalez. Lane, Classy Thomas. All these wonderful
Yeah, just
people.
a lot of people.
We're leaving
that
people
are
out,
here.
not on purpose, but there's been like no less than probably like 50 to 100 people. Yeah, we said John. John, of course, obviously a big part of the network,
Yeah.
getting us, many hundreds of episodes. So
Yeah, and it's and shout out to Zach and
wow.
and me, if I can't say so.
Shout out to myself.
It's
For being a
awesome.
shout out.
I want to say this because I feel like it can't be understated. Other than maybe like one or like 1/2 episodes, that's 300 consecutive episodes. We really don't miss. Zach was really wanting to take the day off last week, and I was like, bro, the people show up in the chat for us every
Yeah.
week.
You were like,
It's
but
the least
why?
we could do is show up for them
Yeah.
too. So it's hard. It's not easy. I mean, I think I missed because of my car accident back in 2019, like because it happened that same day.
Yeah.
And then I missed a few because I literally could not sit down because of my when I fell.
It's a tough time to swallow.
But yeah, Zach and you guys kept the show going, and
Bro, I was
really
so
is-
glad that you could make it today. You're having those tech issues. And I was like, what an episode for
Dean's
that to
internet's
happen.
out.
I
hate
know,
to see
dude.
it.
I
What
don't
did
know
happen?
what
You
the-
fixed it because it's like crispy now.
I just put my resolution on my camera down to 360.
You look crispy as hell for
Yeah, you look
360,
crispy,
honestly.
bro.
At
Yeah, I
1080, you'd be like, you count the pores on your face, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. He looks better at 360 than he did at 1080.
There's some incredibly
Yeah, it's the
big
weirdest
pores.
thing. I don't know. Like that's the only thing I did different. I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so here we are. Shout out to
Yeah.
everybody.
Here we go. Moose says, I'm glad I found CW. I run home every Tuesday to catch the stream. I'm overjoyed to have met you all in September. Yeah, what a fucking guy.
Love you, buddy.
I really hope that we can see
You
Moose
running,
next,
Moose?
this year.
Goddamn.
Nah, man.
Fern had a really nice message up here.
Yeah, go ahead and pop it
Where'd
up.
go?
You should give us the ability to highlight
here.
comments to Zach in the new year. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. It's more if you want to
For-
deal with logging in and out. I don't really care.
I'll log in.
Fern said
do it
the
for Marco.
anxiety episode
Just
is
use
one of
our
the first
thing for
times
your channel,
I
okay.
really opened up on stream, and it really felt good having you guys really understand. Not a day goes by that I don't talk to Zach, Dean, Manny, and Eric. And
Love you,
he
Fern.
said,
Love you, buddy.
I consider you guys almost like brothers I never had. Love you guys. Congrats.
Fern's
Still
one of
got
the
that
nicest
bench in
people
my
I've
backyard,
legit
Fern.
ever actually met in person, with the exception of that bench. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
fucked
got that bench in my backyard.
We gotta get that bench breaker
In,
sticker.
it's not a bench anymore. It's splinters.
Yeah, we need a bench breaker sticker.
A bench breaker. Shout out to 12-inch Moose Dream. He's sending me some 7-inch Batman the Animated Series figures right now. I'm waiting on an Alfred from him and a Scarecrow, so I'm very excited to get those.
I'm excited to get my package, Moose. Tell you
Shout
that
out
much.
there, yeah. Shout out to Seamus Big Bad Badfish,
Sorry,
not Big
that's such a
Badfish,
hater.
but Badfish.
Yeah.
Almost whenever I'm not available to do a Tuesday stream, Badfish steps up and jumps in. And he's a busy guy. He's got a little baby himself. So we love you, buddy. Thank you for always doing that. And then quick internal plug here. Let's Get Nuts will be back on January 7th. So this coming Sunday, we will have another Let's Get Nuts on the Ben Thomas Show. If you guys have some Sunday time available, make sure you're there. I think Eddie's already signed in. And we got a couple other folks that are excited to join. So it'll be a good show. Enjoy it if you can. Come and join us. So, but love you guys. Congratulations on 300 for sure.
I want to say congratulations on 300. I know it's a lot of work. Like it is a grind for you guys to be this consistent. We're very consistent on our channel, because it's hard. It's hard to put out content this regularly. So, cheers to you guys and many, many more. I do want to say, looking forward to OxCon this year. I think we'll have details to come. A lot of folks that were from this part of the world, when I say this part of the world, California, went to OxCon, enjoyed it a lot. And I think that there's a desire to do, something similar in California. So I will just plug that May 4th weekend. Looks like there's going to be a California collectors meetup. More details to come. If you're interested in it, though,
I'll be there.
There you go. So message Jay Feezy on Instagram or Facebook, or Calvin the Low Key Collector, or Mario El Profesoro, or myself. And more details to come. You can be added to the group. And then obviously with OxCon, we're going to talk about what's going to go on this year.
I mean, I'm mostly going because Calvin's going to be there, but I mean, you guys are cool too. So.
Wait, are you still going to come to OxCon, Ben, or are you just doing
Of
one?
course. I'll
What a guy.
find a
What
way.
a fucking
I'll find
guy.
a way.
Hell yeah. Find a way. Love it.
Depends on where it is.
I want to... Jesus Christ, don't fucking get me started on that. I do want to give another shout out to Badfish because, we did a team meeting for D&D with Dean and Deanie and Badfish and myself, and it was during that meeting we kind of found out that we had lost everything, and boy, I was ready to give up on this show, on fucking everything. I was like, bro, I'm so fucking pissed that this happened, because I mean it's literally 500 hours plus of work gone. And he was the voice of reason, man. He was like, you know what, we can make this better. Like, this may be a blessing in disguise. Like, we're gonna figure out how to continue, and he really kept my head level. So yeah, he's a great guy, and he doesn't get his flowers enough. So anyone else have any shout outs they want to give? No. Well, for the 300th time. Anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Marco.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Eddie.
We'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.